Good morning and a very warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live for day 4's coverage of this LV Insurance County Championship fixture between Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire. Now, wherever you are joining us from, I hope you've had a very nice, relaxing start to your Sunday, because today is the final day, as I say, and that does mean it is results day. So you never know, we might be in for some nervy moments ahead of us on this glorious Sunday. Now, day 3 was an absolutely bumper day of cricket here at Trent Bridge, with a little bit of everything in there as well. So let's just remind yourself of everything that happened yesterday, and we'll do that with the day 3 highlights.
Not set up small, final day chase. A team effort from Nottinghamshire was to thank for their 74-run lead over Derbyshire, with 3 wickets still in hand. Every dismissed batter so far having reached double figures. And it was Liam Patterson-White and James Pattinson who started day 3 at the crease, looking to hammer home the hosts' advantage. But Patterson-White would fall from just the 4th ball of the day, LBW, to Nick Potts for 39. That wicket brought Stuart Broad to the crease, who brought up his team's 350 with a clip into the leg side, but would then become the first Notts batter to go for single figures, bowled by Sam Connors as he looked to cut. At the other end, the Aussie James Pattinson was having a swing, and he reached 21 off 12 balls, but was out-caught attempting a second consecutive 6 for the bowling of Potts, bringing an end to Nottinghamshire's innings. Notts had lost their last 3 wickets for just 21 runs, but nevertheless had a first innings lead of 98. Ben Duckett, top scorer with 86, while Sam Connors and Nick Potts both took 4 wickets for the visitors. Potts 4 for 50, a career best for the 19-year-old. Opening for Derbyshire was leading run scorer in the league, Shan Masood, and he needed 156 runs to become only the 9th man in history to score 1,000 championship runs by the end of May, and he'd finish, well, 156 short. LBW to Broad for a duck. It was tough going against Nottinghamshire's excellent opening attack, with just 23 runs coming off the first 14 overs, and Notts thought they had Billy Godalming caught behind, only for the umpire to be unmoved. Derbyshire were hanging on for lunch, and they looked to have managed it, only for Brooke Guest to fall LBW to Patterson in the minutes before the break. Notts delighted as they still led by 54 runs, with 2 Derbyshire wickets in the bank already at lunch on day 3. After the break, and the pair of Godalming and Madsen added 50 together, with Madsen injecting some pace to the innings as he struck Broad and Pattinson for boundaries. But he'd lose his partner Godalming to Dane Patterson. Godalming had been patient for his 27, but was induced into a misguided pull, and he was gone. The score 81 for 3. Madsen and new batter Deploy added a further 40 together, but Notts would then make a double breakthrough. First, when Deploy was LBW to Lyndon James for 22, before Lewis Rees edged behind to a beauty from Pattinson. Derbyshire 5 down and only 26 ahead. A 3-day defeat all of a sudden seeming possible. Madsen would bring up a 71-ball half-century, his 6th score of 50 plus this season, but he would go on the stroke of tea to give Notts their vital wicket. At the break, Derbyshire 138 for 6, with the lead standing at 40. Derbyshire would pass 150 after the break, but Liam Patterson-White would pick up his first wicket of the innings, Thompson LBW for 16. But for the first time in the innings, Derbyshire began to build some momentum, and the 8th wicket pair of Alex Hughes and debutant Liam Hurt, on loan from Lancashire, started to build a partnership. Thompson was the more watchful, whilst Liam Hurt wasn't afraid to get his elbows out and took Stuart Broad for consecutive boundaries. Together, they took Derbyshire past 200, and as their partnership also crossed 50, Derbyshire's lead was now 130, with some nerves potentially spreading within the Notts group. The second new ball arrived but made no difference to begin with, Hurt striking yet another boundary off Broad to go to career best 14 not out. The 8th wicket had put on 90, but both Hurt and Hughes would fall for 49 within 2 overs of one another, a crucial breakthrough for Notts just as Derbyshire had been building a potentially tricky lead. The final wicket arrived shortly afterwards, Potts bowled by Patterson for 8, meaning Derbyshire were all out for 262, leaving Notts 164 to win. 3 wickets apiece for Pattinson and Patterson, whilst with the bat only Madsen, Hurt and Hughes with significant contributions. Notts had 2 overs left of the day to see out, which they did so without any real issue, finishing the day on 3 for none, needing just 162 for victory tomorrow.
So they were the highlights from yesterday, an absolute bumper day of cricket here at Trent Bridge. And at certain times you would think that the Derbyshire fans were happier than the Notts fans, but maybe just at the end of the day the Notts fans thought that they won the 2 sessions compared to Derbyshire's 1. And we are in for a great day here on day 4. But what did the head coach Peter Moores think of the action from day 3 and what is ahead of us on day 4? Well, he caught up with the Trent Bridge media staff after the game.
Peter, another attritional day in the field for the bowlers. Once again, they came through it with flying colours. How pleased is it to see the cartel in full flow?
Yeah, it was a great effort actually. The pitch it's a good pitch now to bat on, that's for sure. So I thought we did really well. We used the second new ball at the end to clear them out. Real credit to all 4 of the seamers and Liam Patterson-White really, because they had to work very hard to get through that attack, and it set us up with a great chance tomorrow if we bat well.
At different times, each bowler seemed to pick up the mantle and really put the pressure on Derbyshire. Was there talk of hunting as a pack?
Well, we always want to play as a pack. I think what we knew that it was about passing it on really. Part of that whole idea as a bowling unit is you bowl your spell. If you don't get the wicket, you pass it on to somebody else to have a go. And I think we saw that today. I also think we saw, James Patterson's extra bit of pace making a difference. Stuart Broad really looks like he's hit his rhythm. And it was lovely to see Dane Patterson continue his form and Lyndon James now chip in with a couple of good wickets.
It seemed throughout the day that bowlers stuck to their plans and reaped the rewards. How satisfying is that when it comes out on the pitch like that?
We played good cricket actually. I mean, I think as a bowling unit they've made it hard work for a lot of teams. We've controlled the rate because we know how quickly you can score at Trent Bridge. So I think you saw when we first came out, I think after 10 overs there were about, 15 or whatever. Classic Broad and Pattinson really creating pressure, asking a lot of questions, challenging people up on the knee roll, and how to bowl on good pitches really. So, we had to work hard to get the wicket, and I say credit to Hurt and to Hughes towards the end, who put on a very good partnership. But nice to get them out tonight because, to be fair to the lads, they were tired at the end. It was that they played with the right sort of intensity, but that's tiring as a bowling unit over the course of a day.
That Derbyshire 8th wicket stand showed how much life there still is in the pitch for a bat. So what will the plan be tomorrow when we come back here tomorrow?
No different to normal really. You've got to see off that new ball, you build your partnerships, always in a run chase. The real reward goes to the 2 guys that walk off if you win the game. So everybody will want to be that person. The 2 people that walk off at the end, not out, are the people that will take us home. Our challenge really is to not leave it to anybody else. Haas and Benny Slater will start us off. They'll try and build a good partnership, good platform, take it as deep as they can, and we'll try and, we're in no rush. We've just got to play well, try and get the runs and get ourselves the points and then move on, obviously, into a different format.
So they were the thoughts of head coach Peter Moores last night, and as you can hear in the background, the bell has rung, so that means we are literally a few minutes away from the start of play. Now let's just remind everybody of the table so far in Division 2 in the County Championship. As you will see, Nottinghamshire currently in second place on 84 points, while Derbyshire are on 5th, 79 points for Derbyshire. Bonus points for Nottinghamshire is 7 so far, and just to remind you, it's 16 points for a win, 8 points for a draw. So both teams will be thinking that they've got a chance of getting that victory. For Notts, it's about 162 runs. That is what's needed. They'll start the day on 3 for no loss, with Ben Slater on 2 and Hasib Hamid yet to score. For Derbyshire, it's all about wickets, and they need 10 of them. Let's just remind you of the Nottinghamshire selected 11 for this fixture. Okay, so they will come out to the crease very shortly. It is Ben Slater and Hasib Hamid. As I say, Ben Slater on 2, Haas is yet to score. They had a tricky 2 overs last night, but they managed to go over it. Next in, Ben Duckett. He's been in fine form so far this season. Joe Clark in at number 4, and Lyndon James comes in at number 5. He needs 81 runs to get to 1,000 in the first class format. Captain Stephen Mullaney will be coming in next, followed by Tom Moores and Liam Patterson-White in at 8 if he is needed later on in the day. Okay, it is believed that these 3 were in the ice bath for most of the evening last night, and you can't blame them. It's Stuart Broad, Jimmy Patterson and Dane Patterson. They did a great effort yesterday to give Notts a chance of getting a victory and chasing that 165 total. That is your Nottinghamshire selected 11 for this Derbyshire fixture. OK, the umpires are about to make their way onto the field. The batters are ready, and so are the Derbyshire fielders and bowlers. So it's time for me to hand over for the final time to the two Daves. That's Dave Fletcher and Dave Bracegirdle.
Well, a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trent Bridge. Those of you watching on the live stream will have seen obviously yesterday's highlights and the pre-match package. Thanks very much to Aaron for setting the day up nicely. Nottinghamshire know what is required. Indeed, Derbyshire know what is required. 165 is the victory target. Notts 3 without loss overnight, so they require a further 162 runs. We've all watched enough cricket to sort of have a rough idea what may happen today, but as myself and Dave Fletcher were just saying, very rarely does a day go exactly as we think it might. It generally deviates and meanders this way and that. So Nottinghamshire with a moderate run chase here on a good wicket against an attack that worked hard in the first innings, but generally offered up too many 4 balls. It allowed Nottinghamshire to put a decent first innings score on the board. They'll have to be tighter second time round. Notts will be favoured at this stage of the day to go on and win it, but of course every Derbyshire wicket means that they come closer and closer to pulling off a victory themselves. Very good morning to Trent Bridge. I'm Dave Bracegirdle from BBC Radio Nottingham, and we've already mentioned him, so let's bring him in, the voice of Derbyshire cricket from BBC Radio Derby. A very good morning to Dave Fletcher.
Good morning, Dave Bracegirdle. Yes, I wasn't expecting necessarily to be here this morning, so that is in itself a triumph from a Derbyshire perspective. Good to see them actually fighting, unlike last season when it was all very meek and mild. Nothing of the sort this time around under Mickey Arthur. The new regime, they're going to start off fairly conventionally. Asif Hamid is going to face Sam Connors with 3 slips and everybody else in the usual place. Point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket and a long leg. In fact, the mid-wicket's going out to the boundary now, so there's a single on offer in the leg side every single delivery, so he's going to have to play this one fairly carefully, Sam Connors. He doesn't want to bang it in like he did in the first innings, because that doesn't work. Doesn't work for Sam, certainly. He needs to pitch it up and see if he can get any swing, although there is a lot of blue sky up above. The first delivery of the final day is clipped into the leg side for 4 runs by Asif Hamid, and that isn't the start Derbyshire were looking for, but it's just a nice little settler for Hamid.
Certainly is, yeah. He's off the mark. First ball of the morning. I think we're on the same page, aren't we, from here? Notts would be overwhelming favourites to win this, but you know there is that but. As Andy Pick, who was up until recently the Notts bowling coach, would say, the batting side can only make 10 mistakes.
Yes. Connors bowls that one. Sure exactly what happened there. He suggested it moved off the pitch, which is good news for Sam Connors. Asif Hamid, he didn't get any bat on it. These Derbyshire players have got to give everything this morning, and they will.
And if those mistakes happen, should chances be created, they've got to be taken. Goes without saying, but you know you don't need to take 12 or 13 or 14 wickets here. You just want to take 10. Don't put any chances down.
There's Connors in again. Bowls to Hamid, who leaves alone. That's a good leave. That's a better delivery from Sam Connors. Good pace. Pitched it in the right kind of area. And through to the wicket-keeper.
Last night we saw, I know Dave's got to go and do an update, but just putting it out there, last night we saw Alex Thompson bowl the second over. There were just 2 overs available for Derbyshire. Very interesting to see. You know, it would be sort of against convention maybe to get the spinner on nice and early this morning with you know, attacking fields around him. We'll have to see. Here's Connors in again, bowls, and Hamid drops it on the leg side, and there's no run. At Brace Cricket, at Fletch Sport, if you'd like to get in touch this Sunday morning. And also a very good morning as always, our umpires for this game, David Milnes and Neil Malinder, our scorers John Brown and Roger Marshall, Ian Smith working the big screens here at Trent Bridge, and Paul Harrison looking after the players' welfare over in the pavilion. Always likes a shout out, does Paul. Very good morning to one and all, and everybody that's joined us as Connors comes in and bowls to Hamid, who helps it up to Billy Goddleman at mid-off. there's no run. Yesterday Derbyshire bowled out for 262 in their second innings. Two innings then for Derbyshire in this game of similar length, similar size, 260 and 262. Nottinghamshire getting a first innings advantage of 98. They were bowled out for 358. They won't want to be bowled out today for anything less than 165. There's Connors. In again, Mead solidly behind this, pushes it up to mid-on, no run. So just that first ball of the morning worked her way through mid-wicket. And it brought a boundary to Mead. He's on that 4. Slater 2, 7 without loss. If you're with us audio only and you get the opportunity, there is a live stream available via the Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club website. Go to Trent Bridge /live and you'll find the link and be able to follow the pictures as well. T says the audio is out of sync with the live stream. That may well be true, T. If it is at our end, I'm sure Kirsty and the crew will be looking at it. But just to check, make sure you refresh at your end as well, because sometimes it is something that just yeah, one or two people are now getting in touch as well. So we'll pass that to Kirsty and the crew. Sync appears to be out of. Well, the commentary appears to be out of sync with the pictures. We are going to get Alex Thompson. Nottinghamshire 7 without loss. And the off-spinner comes in to bowl. Slater cuts this away. He's going to get runs. He wrong-footed the fielder at backward point, and it's gone for 4. Just runs over the rope now. Too short, too wide. Slater cuts it away. We've started perhaps a minute or two early because we're into the second over of the day already. A couple of boundaries have been nicely put away. Asiba Mead, the first ball of the morning, and Ben Slater at the start of this second over. He has put one away to the ropes as well. Remember, Nottinghamshire set a victory target of 165. They will be heavily fancied to get there, maybe middle of the afternoon, something like that. They're currently 11 without loss, requiring 154 more. So, Dave Fletcher back to join me. So it is Alex Thompson who sort of put it out there that Derbyshire may go a little funky. A little push and run here from Slater. They take a single, 12 without loss. Feel a bit for Sam Connors' first ball of the over. It certainly wrong-footed him, and he may well have been in a position to stop it at backward point, but it got away from him and ran away for a boundary.
He took a step to his left, didn't he, anticipating, and unfortunately by the time he readjusted he couldn't get down to stop the ball. He wasn't happy with himself, and nor should he have been really. But
do you like this, the spinner on early?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see an awful lot of Alex Thompson today. His fingers are going to be sore.
People now saying, folks, a refresh at your end rather than our end. A refresh at your end seems to have done it for some people. They've now got the pictures and the commentary back in sync. So hopefully he'll be all right. Oh, false start here from Alex Thompson, which is okay. 12 without loss. Mead has 4. He's on strike, short leg in there, and he deflects it away into the leg side. Will take a single, 13 without loss. Derbyshire will be desperate to chalk up the dot balls. Plenty of maidens. Just try and build a bit of pressure, but this right-hander and left-hander opening combination so far have already added 10, and we've only had 10 balls this morning. Slight delay.
We're going to have another close fielder here. Lears Deploy is called for the helmet as well. We've already got Alex Hughes at short leg. So we're going to have somebody under the helmet on the offside as well, by the look of it, in Lears Deploy, which again I like. They've got to attack. They can't just restrict runs because it just prolongs the day and extends the time in which Nottinghamshire will win the game. They have to take wickets. They have to take 10 wickets, of course.
So we've now got a silly point in there. right in front of Slater. Forced away into the offside though by the former Derbyshire man. Takes a single. Deploy is in there. Madsen was at slip. Who's that under the lid, Dave? Is that Alex Hughes?
Yeah, Hughes at short leg and Deploy on the other side. Although he's not going to be on the other side for Hasib Hamid.
14 without loss. It's always nice when they give a youngster an opportunity on the cameras as well. We've got we've got brand new camera manning staff in front of us on the gantry. This is played on the leg side. I'll get me nose punched, I'm sure, a little later on. But producer Kirsty's out there manning one of the cameras today. 14 without loss after just 4 overs. So this morning 2 overs, Dave, have brought 11 runs.
Yeah, that's too many. Yeah, too many. But need to get themselves settled down here, the bowlers, get themselves into a rhythm, especially the spinner. It's all about rhythm, isn't it, with spinners? Get into a nice groove, get the ball turning as he wants it, if indeed it is turning. I thought 1 or 2 might have turned last night. It's a day 4 pitch. It's a pretty good pitch.
Wasn't that a line in a song? Rhythm is the answer. Rhythm is a dance. What is it? All about the rhythm, anyway.
Bit modern for me, that one.
Yeah, me as well.
So Sam Connors to continue. He's got 2 slips. He did have 3 at the start of the day, so we've already lost 1 of those. It's Lewis Deploy who's out of extra cover. And he's bowling to Ben Slater, who pushes this out into the offside. That's where he needs to bowl to him.
Enjoyed listening to Radio Nottingham on the journey in from the Kingdom of Newark this morning. There's a half marathon. No, it's not a half marathon. A 10k going on in Nottingham this morning, and they were out and about on the course. Francis Finn interviewing some of the runners and the personalities there. And as I came out of Newark, there was obviously a cycling time trial going on. Lots of lycra-clad cyclists clogging up the roads.
Connors bowls, and that's pushed out into the offside by Slater once again, and once again it's Lewis Deploy who does the fielding. You didn't fancy the 10k this year?
I didn't. No, I thought, as I hadn't done it for the last however many years, I wouldn't break the duck.
No, I'm with you there. I've got a car. If
Yeah,
I want to go 10k, I'll jump in the car.
And what's all that about? And don't get me started on metric and imperial, but we use miles in this country, don't we?
We do. We do.
Yes.
No, we do. You're right. But a half marathon is imperial. This one is left alone outside the off-stump. I don't know what it is in imperial. All I do is 13 miles and something.
I mean, people talk about centimetres. I honestly haven't a clue how big a centimetre is. Give me, yards, feet, and inches. I know what we're dealing with. I know how tall somebody is if they're 6'1". Or 5'10", or whatever it may be. Tell me they're 175 centimetres. I haven't a clue.
No, heights and weights I struggle with. If people tell me there's so many kilograms, I really
no,
don't.
14, 15, 16, 17 stone, we know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I used to. This
Yes,
one's
yeah,
left alone
yeah.
outside the off-stump, but it kept a bit low. It's been a while since I was any of those.
But it's just so strange that we're neither one nor the other. Our
No.
road signs on the motorways on all our roads are in miles, and yet people talk about doing a 10k run and all the rest of it, don't they? 1500. He's running the 1500 metres. Usain Bolt's run the 100 metres, has he?
Miles per gallon. We buy it in litres.
Yeah.
Here is Sam Connors in again. Bowls a full delivery that's driven out towards the cover boundary where Nick Potts does the fielding. There's another single.
Welcome to Two Grumpy Old Men
Oh,
this Sunday morning.
Yeah. 15 without loss.
There was a time yesterday where we didn't think we'd be here this Sunday morning. I think when they got to 161 for 7, Derbyshire, to quote Sam Smith, the writing was on the wall. But that
The Brewer.
indeed,
Yeah.
that 8th wicket partnership of 90, the highest of the match between the two H's, got Derbyshire to at least to this position where they are outsiders to win the game, but they have a chance. I think at that point, 161 for 7, we didn't think they'd got a chance.
Connors bowls, and that one is pushed out into the offside by Hasib Hamid, fielded by Mitch Wagstaff, who of course is on the ground because Lewis Rees has that groin problem. He won't be fielding today. He is here. Lou saw him this morning having a long chat with Alex Thompson. love to have known what they were talking about. Oh no, I'd love to know what most people are talking about most of the time, so that's just been nosy. But yeah,
Yes, your investigations into the apparent face-off between Pattinson and Madsen didn't get too far, did it?
Well,
all it was largely friendly, is all we've been able to to glean. I like the word largely.
Yes,
Doing a lot of the heavy lifting there.
it was unfortunate because we were going to speak to Wayne last night, but unfortunately he had to dash off. He apologised profusely this morning, which wasn't necessary. Spoke to Alex Hughes instead. I managed to grab a quick chat with Wayne this morning, but he wasn't too forthcoming. It was a smile.
There's the tall Alex Thompson bowling. Slater pushes it to Connors at backward point. Dave, we get so much correspondence in a day, but these are the sorts of bits of correspondence I like. Stephen Field, Dave, it's the first cricket match today for my 7-year-old son. Feel so privileged to bring him along into the Radcliffe Road end to watch this. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, brilliant.
As Thompson bowls, and this is worked away by Slater. Connors again, the right place at backward point, makes the stop. There was a nasty moment for him in the previous Thompson over, though, one that sort of wrong-footed him as it pitched and went away for 4. Lovely skies over Trent Bridge at the moment as Slater rocks forward and defends. You can see the vapour trails for the I was going to say the jets. They look like skyrockets, don't they? There's one or two there that you're looking one way and I'm pointing another. That one's sort of almost over the pavilion now. Seems to be, on its way to Jupiter, or wherever that is. Is Jupiter in that direction?
It's over there.
Thank you, Peter Kay.
I have no idea where Jupiter is.
No, I haven't really. Well, I haven't at all. Never mind the really. But lovely skies and lots of vapour trails. But these aren't coming into East Midlands Airport. These are going a long, long way from here. This one's pushed back to Thompson. 15 without loss, Nottinghamshire, so they require 150 more runs. You'd imagine if there is a fairly standard rate of progress, the middle of the afternoon would be a likely destination to bring up the 165. Slater pushes this to backward point, but as one or two correspondents have said, they can't afford to take this run chase lightly and assume it's going to happen. They've got to go out there, and I'm sure they, Peter Moores wouldn't let them go out there with anything less than a professional attitude. But any airy-fairy shots, and I think the spectators will be quickly on their backs and reminding them that there's 16 important points up for grabs here. 15 without loss, Nottinghamshire.
Yes, what they can't afford to do is think, oh well, if I get out, somebody else will do it, because that can soon go through a team. Which is why these two have made a good start this morning. They've put on 12 runs so far. That was a maiden over from Alex Thompson, though, and we need more of those from a Derbyshire perspective. 3 slips back now for Hasib Hamid as Connors begins a new over. Good pace. Too far wide of the off stump for Hamid to be interested in. It goes through to the keeper.
I'd like to think the gates have been thrown open at Old Trafford today, because of course that match, Lancashire 9 wickets down. It could in theory have just been 1 ball this morning, but they're still batting. Lancashire. They're 232 for 9. They're 56 away from making Essex bat again.
Good effort if they do. Connors past the umpire and Hamid defends it. Out into the offside. Shan Masood comes in to do the fielding from extra cover.
People talk about cricket's finances. I mean, that today, and I'm not talking about on the field, that is going to be a loss for Lancashire County Cricket Club, because stewards will be needed to man the gates, to man the car parks. They will need paying a day's rate. There'll be all sorts of people in there. In fact, it's all over. It's just finished. Essex have won by an innings in 56, so it didn't last long, did it? What is it, 11:15?
Minutes, Connors bowls and Hamid defends. Connors thrusts down the left hand. I was thinking as well about the gentleman who said he'd brought his young son to his first game of
Stephen.
cricket. It's the perfect day to bring him, really, because he's not going to be here for 7 hours, and he will either see his side, who I assume his side is Nottinghamshire, either see Nottinghamshire win, or he'll see one of the more remarkable victories in modern times.
And then, as you say, home for bit of snap, and he can tell all his mates about it at school tomorrow.
Connor's ball's a short delivery, and that's well claimed by Brooke. Guess it's a no ball, presumably for height. I don't know for certain, but 17 without loss.
I always struggle with. I think it's Liam. I can't quite read his Twitter handle, Liam, because you've got all sorts of symbols in there. I think it's Liam. I'm down at Trent Bridge. Billy no mates, but I've got the two Daves on my headphones.
I can only apologise. In comes Connors and balls. That was turned into the leg side by Hamid.
I don't know what we've said that's tickled him, though. He says, people here think I'm mad. I'm laughing to myself listening to you guys moaning on about kilometres and miles, etc. Thanks very much, Liam. Yeah, I think we're of a like mind when it comes to things like that. Dave and I, similar sort of age. If I'm not insulting my esteemed chum.
I don't think you are at all. Yeah, we're just filling in the gaps, really. Connors is in again. Hamid turns this into the leg side. There is a man out there. It's Nick Potts. He'll get a single. So apart from the no ball, that's the first run off the bat in the last couple of overs. So that's much better from a Derbyshire perspective. 18 without loss now.
There's a bookmakers in Ollerton that it's not too far away from here. That, I mean, when did we go decibels? 71 was it? That into the 80s was still converting everything into pounds, shillings and pence.
The age of the clientele. Connors balls and he tries to pull that into the leg side. Does Ben Slater, who goes straight down into the ground and dribbles out into the offside. So there's a little warning there for Ben Slater not to be too lax. And the over comes to an end with Nottinghamshire on 18 without loss. Slater has 9, Hamid has 6, and they still need another 150, I think. No. Yeah, no, they don't. They need 147. The scoreboard's telling us what's happening at lunchtime, which is as interesting, or possibly more interesting than what I was saying.
Well, yesterday it was all about the interwoven link between Derby County Football Club and Derbyshire County Cricket Club, and today it's Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club and Notts County, the link, and Steve Lamotti, the Notts Heritage Officer, will be giving that presentation, discussion, chat. There'll be lots of photos and whatever, and that will be lunchtime here in the Radcliffe Road stand. If you just come across to the Radcliffe Road end, there's all the signs on where to go. You'll be able to while away 20 minutes of your luncheon period. Is Alex Thompson bowl into Hamid, drops this down past short leg. Alex Hughes and Connors does the fielding.
Yes, David Griffin. I said to Griff, I'll see you at lunch, Griff. He said, well, I might go to the... So I think he might go to that talk, having given one himself yesterday on Derbyshire and Derby County.
Start of the 8th over of the innings, 18 without loss, and he drives up to mid-on. There's no run. Today being the 4th day, I mean, I'm just reminding you of the regulations. Not entirely sure how many intervals we'll get, but they will be at 1 o'clock for lunch, and then scheduled to be 3:40 for tea, and it's a 96 over day. There's no overs that were lost earlier in the match dragged into this day, and Hamid with a slightly agricultural shot for him has hit it back over the bowler's head for 4. There's perhaps the feeling was just getting a little bit bogged down and needed to try and find a way to just relieve that pressure. Plays a big shot over the bowler's head down to the pavilion rope, and Hamid is on to 10, 22 without loss. Nottinghamshire require 143 more runs. Here comes Thompson again. He's in this into the offside. They'll take a single, and goes to 23 without loss. Derbyshire +3 on their over 8, so they don't have to bowl Alex Thompson with regards to keeping the over rate under control. They've obviously gone out there and thought, let's try different things at different ends. We'll have a seamer with the new hard ball at one end, and we'll try the spinner at the other with all those round the bat. And I applaud that as a chance, an opportunity, really, just to try something different at each end. Try and drop on the winning formula. And Ben Slater mistimes that one down into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to try things, as we said earlier. There's no point in just having a seamer at each end in a standard field where they can pick off ones and twos and get the odd boundary. They'll cruise home.
That's right, 50 or 60 without loss. You know, the job is well on the way to being completed. Comes again round the wicket to Slater, clips it and runs quickly. That's good as well from the two Nottinghamshire batters, because you know you can get bogged down and allow pressure to build, but they were keen to rotate the strike there. Slater taking a single, pushing it up to Liam Hurt, 24 without loss. Slater has 10, Mead has 11. Speaking of Liam Hurt, he was one of two Derbyshire batsmen yesterday to be dismissed for 49, so feel for them a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, but especially for Liam Hurt, because he's on debut from Lancashire. Obviously he's not played for a couple of years in first class cricket, and you know, it would have been nice to sort of make his mark. I'm not entirely sure he didn't take a wicket, did he, in the first innings?
No, he may not get the chance in the second.
No, exactly. So you know, for him to get some runs is good for him, because you know the very few dealings I've had with him, he seems a decent sort of fella.
There were 3 in total, weren't there? Lewis Rees was out for 49 in the first innings. Here is Connors bowling to the left-handed Ben Slater, who leaves this one alone outside the off stump. Anybody who's not in the ground and is looking for something to listen to at lunchtime on Radio Derby, they're doing the Derby County story in 10 parts, and today is part 1, and therefore it is all about the routes that the two codes share, cricket and football. That's on at 1 o'clock, 3 minutes past 1, I think, to be technically correct. As Connors bowls a short delivery, it's pulled into the leg side. Sham Masood will do the fielding out there in the deep, and they go through for a single, 25 without loss. Both batsmen have 11 runs. The run rate is exactly 3. They need another 140, so you can work out how many overs they'll do it in.
I'm staggered they've not asked for my input.
Were you there when they were both formed? That's what you're suggesting.
I was there for the John Gregory years. Rampage Radio, ahead of its time. DAB Radio. We had about 3 listeners because nobody had DAB Radio.
Connors bowls, and there's a play and a miss, really. It was quite an aggressive looking shot from Hasib Hamid. Goes through to the keeper. Rampage Radio, blimey.
Yeah.
Car stickers everywhere.
They were.
Yeah.
Literally they were, to try and promote it, to try and, you know, as I say, the problem was, if you want to listen to this, Derby County's own radio station, you need to go out and buy a DAB radio first, but then you'll be able to get the dulcet tones of Dave Bracegirdle and Roger Davis for every match, live and exclusive.
Connors bowls is turned into the leg side by Hamid, who picks up a single.
You don't need to listen to the great Colin Gibson and who was there? It was Ross Fletcher. Was it before Ross Fletcher on BBC Radio Derby doing the Derby County games?
You'd be asking the wrong person, I'm afraid.
Oh, crikey. It'll come.
Mackingham did it for a long time,
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
Here's Sam Connors. He features on the Derby County story, of course. Here's Connors bowls to... Oh, that's a glorious shot from Ben Slater. He's just guided it down, backward a square on the offside, in between the two fielders who were out on the boundary. It is a short boundary, as we mentioned, and that just raced away. That was too short from Sam Connors. He cannot bowl short, Sam Connors. Slater moves to 15, 30 without loss. Not the first half hour Derbyshire were wanting. They were looking for a half hour that they had yesterday morning, although they were bowling towards the tail end of the Nottinghamshire batting lineup. They picked up the 3 wickets inside half an hour that they were looking for. Nothing so far this morning. Around the wicket comes Connors, and it's defended into the offside by Slater.
There were some exotic signings made by John Gregory. I remember the 2 Frenchmen coming in, Francois Grenet, a right back, Pierre Ducrot, a midfielder. was the season, of course, they got relegated from the from the Premier League. One or two characters there, obviously Ravanelli and Benito Carbone, the Italians, Georgi Kinkladze, the Georgian. Is it Branko Strupa, the Belgian international? Right, a world 11.
Yeah.
30 without loss. Mead has 12. Partnership, obviously 30, but just what Notts would have wanted, a little bit of a foundation at the start. Interesting if Ben Duckett does get in anytime soon with Thompson bowling, because then I think if he stays at the crease for any length of time, we'll see the full repertoire against the big tall spinner. There'll be scoops and reverses and switches and heaven knows what else. Billy Gottleman has a plan, and he's sharing it with his bowler Alex Thompson, who's preparing to bowl what will be the 10th over of the innings, the 8th of the morning. Been playing for about half an hour. Bowls on the pads of Mead, and again Sam Connors brought into play. He's not getting a rest, Sam Connors, because he's bowling obviously half the overs, and probably 4 of every 6 balls that Alex Thompson sent down has been hit to him at backward square. He's not got to get me. This one's dropped down though at the feet of short leg. He's not on a 45. He's more on probably a 60-degree angle, isn't he, than a 45? If I'm going the right way.
Yes, I think so. Yes,
he's on the 60.
It's not my strong point. Then.
No. Mead has 12. Made 15 in the first innings. He's on to 16, driving this one gloriously through the offside. Slightly overpitched by Alex Thompson without a P. And Asiba Mead helps himself to a boundary. Mead on to 16, 34 without loss. Notts require 131 more. Ball back with the bowler. This one just held up a little bit of flight from Thompson. The Mead gets forward and defends. Liam Hurt is going through some stretching exercises at a fairly deepish mid-on position. It's a single there actually if Mead is able to push it down the ground. It's very deep. Hurt. And there it is, the push down the ground by Asiba Mead. We were for once on the same page. 35 now on the board. Mead has 17, Slater has 15. Very good morning to you if you're joining us this Sunday morning. Lovely conditions at the moment in this part of the East Midlands. They do say perhaps later on in the day after tea there might be a shower or two bubbling up, but I think most judges would expect this one to be done and dusted by then, one way or another. 35 on the board. One ball left in the 10th over. Slater back on strike. Thompson bowls and Slater will help himself to a single, so he'll keep strike. Just deflected it wide of Alex Hughes. 36 without loss, and Billy Gottleman having another chat with his bowler there. I wonder if he's going to keep Thompson going or ring the changes. So there's one match already finished in Division 1. Obviously yesterday we saw Hampshire defeat Somerset at Taunton. Essex have now defeated Lancashire. So the other 2 matches in Division 1 appears to be heading for a draw at Wantage Road. Kent 519, Lancashire, Northamptonshire in reply 349 for 8. So they've not got very far in that match. Liam Hurt, in fact, is coming on now to replace Sam Connors from the Radcliffe Road end. And at Headingley, Warwickshire in their second innings are 79 for 3. Still trail Yorkshire by 126. So Warwickshire have probably got to bat through the day there to get a draw. At Lords, similar story for Durham. They're 44 for 3, still trailing Middlesex by 28. Going to be Liam Hurt in just a moment, and that's it with regards to the County Championship. Obviously the other Division 2 game in this round, Worcestershire yesterday defeated Leicestershire by an innings and more than 200. There are a couple of tour matches at Hove. Day 3, New Zealand 342 for 3 declared, Sussex 22 without loss in reply. Here's Hurt bowling to Slater, his first delivery of this second innings from Hurt, and it's played up to mid on, no run. And at Guildford, day 3, Surrey bat on. They are 218 without loss against Sri Lanka, or a Sri Lankan 11 who made 372. Ryan Patel 120 not out, and Ben Geddes 86 not out. Next ball off the pad. There'll be a Radio Nottingham update in just a second. .36 without loss. Nottinghamshire still on their way here, Dino. They're 36 without loss. They require 129 more to win. Set that victory target yesterday of 165, and no real alarms as yet. Ben Slater takes another single. He moves on to 17. That's matching Asiba Mead, who's also on 17. All well and good for Nottinghamshire. Well on course to picking up their 4th victory of the season. They require 128 more. They're 37 without loss. The latest radio update then. Slater just forced this out onto the shorter offside. Decent number have come in. I think when you talk to the spectators, they do like to watch Sunday cricket. They do like to have a bit of weekend cricket, but Sunday always seems to be the popular one. Of course, you can never guarantee it if it's day 4 of a county championship match, but enough cricket today to bring them in as Hamid forces this through the offside. There's going to be runs here. Shan Masood in a fruitless pursuit. Goes over the boundary rope now in front of the Fox Road stand, and Hamid on to 21. Playing very positively this morning. Knots 41 without loss. And that means they require 124 more. We got James on Twitter, given the game is in the bag. There's a bold call. I'll come back to that in a second. That's a brave one, James. Hamid drives it away, and that should be certainly 3. Is it going to be dragged back? It is through mid-wicket. They do turn for 3. It was a good stop, good bit of work out there. A couple of the Derbyshire fielders putting in a good old dive on the boundary rope. And 3 more to Hamid. Is that Connors? It was Sam Connors who got to the ball just a few inches away from the rope and dragged it back. So Liam Hurt has gone for 8 already in this over. Last ball. We'll come back to your correspondence in a second, James. Next delivery is worked away by Slater for a single. So Liam Hurt in the runs yesterday, 49 of them, but yet to take a wicket in the game, and his first over this morning has leaked a few runs. Nottinghamshire 45 without loss here on BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Radio Derby, requiring 120 more. James says, Dave, given that the game is in the bag, do you think Notts could do an Ashwin and retire a few batsmen so everybody can get some time in the middle? No, James, no, I don't think that will happen. In fact, you yourself know it won't happen, don't you? They would quite happily enjoy Ben Slater and Asiba Mead staying there to get the job done. They want as fewer batsmen visiting the middle as possible. going to be Alex Thompson. Just had to check because although he was there talking to Billy Godleman, he wouldn't put it past the Derbyshire skipper suddenly to have a change of heart and perhaps bring somebody else on, but it is going to be Thompson without the P from the pavilion end. Slater's got 3 round him and he pushes this one back to the bowler. DF back alongside.
An unhappy DF, I'm afraid, Mr. Bracegirdle. Right. I send an email, I'm told to send an email, nobody reads the email and I get ignored.
45 without loss. Next one is nudged back to the bowler. We're in the 12th over of the innings. Saying a decent crowd, isn't it? You know, they're not going to get a full day's cricket, but plenty have come in. Next one is worked away. There's going to be runs. There's going to be 4 of them for Slater. He's played that very nicely through the leg side. Away for a boundary, 49 without loss. We know it's a dirty word, but the old football crowd, I think, would have sensed this was almost perfect for them, because probably we suspect it should be done and dusted way before the 4 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon, the conclusion of the Premier League. Spanish Grand Prix as well this afternoon. What else is the US PGA Golf, Handball International up in Scotland as Slater forces this away. Whatever floats your boat.
Technically an international, but I know what you're saying. It's
England v Scotland, isn't it? England v Scotland, that to me is an international.
English clubs against Scottish clubs.
Oh, build up your part. 49 without loss. Slater has 22. He's on strike. The left-hander being outscored by Slater. He seemed to me to play that perfectly securely down in front of him, but the inevitable chorus of the old ahs and oohs just making him perhaps feel a little discomforted by the way he played it. Next ball driven away. There's going to be a couple of runs here. This is going to be the Nottinghamshire 50 brought up. Slater finding Shan Masood out in the deep and come back for 2, and that's a very solid start this pair have given Nottinghamshire, and it's been brought up fairly quickly as well. 51 from 73 balls. Contributions are absolutely identical. Slater 24 and Hamid 24. Obviously there's a couple of extras in there as well, but Notts have got the basis to go on and get the job done here, and Derbyshire absolutely desperate for the breakthrough, and then they'll hope that 1 brings 2 brings 3. 51 without loss. At Brace Cricket, at Fletch Sport, if you'd like to get in touch. All you club cricketers out there, hope you had a good day yesterday. Those that will be playing this afternoon. Still a lot of friendly cricket goes on around the country, but 1 or 2 Sunday leagues as well. If you're out playing this afternoon, hope it goes well for you and you dodge the showers.
Is it the first delivery for you? What it is?
Yeah.
Liam Hurt. That's why it was my go. Liam Hurt bowls it, pushed out into the offside by Hasib Hamid. The game is pretty much already gone as far as Derbyshire are concerned, for my money. They needed early wickets. They needed more than 1 of them as well, and they haven't got them. They haven't really looked like anyone, in all honesty.
There's not too much devilment out there, is there, to make you think that there could be
it's not been
dramatic
spitting
collapse,
or keeping low or doing it. It's remained a pretty good pitch. As Hurt is in and bowls, and it's driven gloriously on. There's a misfield by Shan Masood, I'm afraid, and Hasib Hamid's going to pick up 4 more runs out at extra cover. He went down to ground and the ball bounced over his hand. I don't think the ball deviated particularly. It's gone away for another boundary, and it's 55 without loss now. We might not even get lunch. Which is a real concern. Liam Hurt doesn't look like he's going to pick up a wicket in his brief Derbyshire loan. His 8 balls have gone for 13 runs so far, and Billy Godleman can't really afford to keep him on for too long when he has other options, and that other option has to be, surely, the man who got 4 for 50 in the first innings. He might only be 19 years of age, Nick Potts, but surely to goodness he's worth a go. He's currently standing on the square leg boundary, being hassled by Mikey Cohen, as that one is turned into the leg side by Hasib Hamid and fielded by Lears Deploy.
He said Deploy had a little bit of
a
warm-up before the start of play.
The ball's a bit of left arm, something or other. Slow. Potentially turning. Not entirely reliable.
Alex Hughes, of course, the other option. Lewis Rees, sadly out of this game. Played nicely in the first innings before picking up an injury.
As in goes Hurt and balls. That's played off the back foot out into the offside. Shan Masood picks this one up. And there is no run. But 110 required. If they carry on going like this, they'll get them. They might even be able to extend. Can they extend the morning session if they're close to victory?
If they're very close, yeah. What is it now? 11:45.
110 in an hour and a quarter is still a very tall order.
Yeah, and I would imagine Dave will have 2 or 3 stoppages to change the ball as well.
Yes, no question. In goes Hurt and balls, and he's pulled into the leg side. That looks like 4 more. Sam Connors is giving chase. He did hold the last one back really close to the rope, and he's done the same this time as well. He only prevents 1 of the 4 runs from being scored, though, as the batsmen come through for 3 more. Hamid moves to 31 from 34 deliveries now. And Nottinghamshire 58 without loss, requiring a further 107 to win.
I fully approve of this. Hasib Hamid is...
it's different.
He's very positive this morning, yeah. It's very often Slater who goes charging away through the gears, whilst Hamid is looking to be the solid foundation at the other end.
Liam Hurt to complete his second and who knows last over for Derbyshire. He bowls a short one, and it surprises Slater. It might have hit his...
No ball.
Doesn't matter what it hit then, really. It might have hit his glove and bounced into the leg side, but either way, doesn't really matter because it was a no ball. So it wasn't Hurt's last ball of the over, or indeed his Derbyshire career.
I would have thought, you know, I don't know his situation with Lancashire. Has he come just to get some game practice with a view to Lancashire using him for the rest of the year, or you know, is he somebody who's going to be circulated as being available? I'd have thought it'd be a useful pickup if it's the latter.
The next one is short again. It's another no ball. I think that must be overstepping, surely.
It was quicker though, wasn't it?
It was quick, and it wasn't that high. That has to be a front foot no ball, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'm yeah, absolutely certain, because it was called immediately at this end. You know, there wasn't even a look to the square leg umpire, was there?
No, indeed. No. Successive no balls means that he's now conceded 20 runs from his 11 deliveries.
Steve Crawley, is there any sight finer in cricket than a Hasib Hamid cover drive? Nice, Steve. He's put a couple away today that have been very easy on the eye.
He's a very fine cricketer. That's everybody from Bolton. This is the next delivery. It's turned into the leg side by Ben Slater for a single out to Shan Masood, and the Liam Hurt over comes to an end. He takes his cap. Nobody talks to him. He's conceded 21 runs off 2 overs, not what Derbyshire required. And Nottinghamshire now 63 without loss. Hamid has 31, Slater has 25. They need 102 to put us out of our misery.
Old sympathetic Bracegirdle feels a little sorry for Liam Hurt right now, because there's no denying there was plenty of effort there. He was running in, he was trying to bustle it through as quickly as he could. Those 2 no balls were quick deliveries, or certainly appeared to be, but of course he sacrificed where his feet were landing for getting that extra little bit of energy and effort. Going to have
Well,
we've gone from plan A to B to C, and we're rapidly running through the alphabet here.
we'll accept your apology, but I mean, really? He's bowled a number of overs, hasn't taken a wicket. It's been very expensive,
Yeah.
so if his name is circulated, if Notts want him, I would suggest at this moment you're probably welcome to him. That would be my take on that. He's got to have a bit of something about him, I suppose, but I haven't seen it.
Here's Wayne Madsen. First one is a little bit round arm slingy and wide of the off stump, but Slater not entirely sure what to do with it, and in the end it goes through to the keeper. 63 without loss. Ben Slater has 25 from 48. Hamid 31 from 34. Madsen again tosses it up and again wide of the pegs, goes through to Brooke Guest. Those on the field liked it.
Wayne Madsen is a very firm believer in his wicket-taking ball. Doesn't happen very often. Doesn't happen as often as he thinks it probably should.
I think Thompson might come on this end. This one's pushed back to the bowler.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, wouldn't it?
.63 without loss, so not still require slightly more than 100, 102 right now. Slater again lets it go through to Brooke Guest. So 4 dots. Tiny little acorns and all that. 4 dots in a row. 13 minutes cricket I'm hearing at Old Trafford this morning before the last wicket went down. Former Nottinghamshire player Luke Wood, who was last out, just goes on with the arm and again through to Brooke Guest. Not a big turner of the ball, Wayne Madsen. Don't think he's ever been, really, has he? But
no,
it's just one of those that you don't want to get out to, and that brings its own pressures and inevitably brings him a wicket or two now and again. 63 without loss. Slater will cut this away, but finds Connors, and Madsen starts with a maiden. So I think we'll see him booked in for another 2 or 3 overs. Now who's going to bowl at this end? Is Liam Hurt going to have a go, or is it going to be a change? Liam Hurt's still walking this way.
He's walking with a deal of purpose, isn't he? Looks like he's going to carry on.
Yep.
He is. He's going to carry on.
Rory says, given the success of Luke Fletcher opening the batting at Lords, is there not an argument for reversing the batting order entirely? No, there isn't. No, there isn't. You talk to the players, the coaches. County Championship wins are always hard to come by. You only had to look at Notts yesterday, the effort that the likes of Patterson and Broad put in. You take a win, how you can get a win, and if you get into a position, you do it as professionally as you can. But no reversing of the batting orders, I'm sure.
In comes Hurt, bowls. That one's on target and defended by Hasib Hamid. Towards Mitch Wagstaff, who's now finding himself at extra cover. Put Shan Masood a backward point on the boundary. Out of harm's way. He's not had the best game, full stop, really. A couple of failures with the bat, which he was always due to have, of course. He's still got 860 odd runs for the season. A couple of misfields as well as Hurt bowls. That was driven straight back at him and well stopped in his follow through.
It's 8 dot balls in a row. You might get your lunch yet, Dave.
I need 80. Wayne Madsen did bowl 8 successive maidens in the last match in about a minute and a half. Batsmen were desperately trying to slow things down, as you would be as a batsman, but he was determined. Here's Hurt again, bowls. That one is driven straight for 4 runs. He didn't quite get it past Hurt the first time, Hasib Hamid, but he did the second. Glorious shot, straight drive, just to the onside of the stumps at the non-striker's end, and he moves up to 35 now. It's 67 without loss.
They'll know each other, of course. Former Lancashire teammates Hurt and Hamid. That means that Notts require less than 100.
Hurton had a little spell at Leicestershire as well, I think, from memory. As he goes in now and bowls, that one is defended up to mid-on, where it's fielded by Sam Connors. I always feel very sorry for Nick Potts. He seems to get forgotten about most of the time. Standing out there on the square leg boundary.
Yes, his confidence would have been high, wouldn't it, to fall for in the first innings? And let me at him skip.
Delivery ball to get rid of Stephen Maloney was an absolute beaut.
Yeah.
I know he's only young, but what better way to learn? In goes Hurt again and bowls, and Hamid defends very correctly up towards Billy Godalming at mid-off.
Yeah, make a name for yourself. Remember back in 2022 when Derbyshire pulled off a surprise win at Trent Bridge. Nick Potts came on and got a match-winning 5-foot. Lots were skittled out either side of lunch. You know, it's stories like that that make cricket what it is.
Hurt's on his way in again to complete his third over, and he's driven straight to Shan Masood, who stops it with his right knee. Ricochets a fair old distance as well away from him, but towards Billy Godalming. So just the 4 runs off that Liam Hurt over, 3 overs for 25 he's bowled now. And Wayne Madsen to continue from the pavilion end with Nottinghamshire 67 without loss, Slater 25, Hamid 35, they need 98 to win.
And Madsen to continue. Bowling to Ben Slater. Partnership worth 67. Ben Duckett due in next, and Joe Clark listed at 4. Last home game here against Worcestershire, it was Clark who guided Notts over the line, finishing with an unbeaten 60 odd. Next ball sees well, it's a full toss and it's put away for 4. If it slipped from Wayne Madsen, I was trying to get it a little fuller, but it was too full, crunched away by Slater through the offside. 71 on the board. That was a little bit of a gift in truth. Notts require 94 more. 66, 67 minutes left in this session. I think we'll be back after lunch, but
Not for long.
you never know. Slater on 29 pushes this back to Wayne Madsen. Thompson at slip. Hughes at short leg, deploy. Couldn't be any closer. Really in the firing line. He's just a couple of paces away from the bat of Slater. Oh, and Ben Slater was desperately keen there to get down the other end. He's pushed it almost straight to Sam Connors, set off 2 paces. Hamid tells him to go back, and Connors' throw, I don't know if it struck Slater or struck him on the bat, but
he got him on the calf, I think.
Yeah.
Bless him.
It's a rush of blood to the head, wasn't it? Certainly. It's a huge build-up of traffic on the Loughborough Road, and the lights have obviously been the cause of it.
Those 10Kers. I've no idea.
No.
I've no idea. I'm just saying something.
Next ball. See Slater again drive crisply, but it won't be the specialist mid-off. That is Billy Godalming, but they will take a single. 72 without loss. Notts require 93 more.
The good news is, of course, when we finish, I'm going the other way. That'll be terrific. There's no traffic at all. Because I do, of course, have my clothes today.
Madsen and the captain slowing things up here with another chat.
It looked like they were calling for something else from the pavilion. I'm not entirely sure what else they could want. They've got enough helmets and fielding pads out there to last a fortnight. They're all swapping around again.
Deploy being brought out from that close-in position on the offside, but he's wandering round almost as in a little bit of a daydream.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's been told where to go. He's sort of, well, I'll stand here then.
Well, he's at, how are we going to describe that? A shortish mid-on. There's a shortish mid-wicket to his right, and Hamid bypasses them all, punching it down the ground for a single to hurt. And they'll have to rejig again for the left-handed Slater. Deploy says, "Do you want me back in there?" Billy Godleman says, "Hang on a minute, we're going to have a chat about it."
We want lunch as well.
Yeah.
He says, because this is the danger of having +3 on a scoreboard.
Yeah. Yeah, might even have a lengthy drinks break just to get them all together, which it might not be the worst idea in the world. Yes, it's a long shot, 10 wickets before Notts get another 92 runs, but have a drinks break, get them all together, get them on the same page as this is pushed into the offside, and there's no run, or at least get together a couple of senior trusted players and counsel their advice. Might happen at midday, which is a couple of minutes away. In fact, on now come the Nottinghamshire 12th and 13th with drinks and towels and heaven knows what else, and now comes the Derbyshire sub, but he's just coming to collect a helmet that Lewis Deploy lobs to him. 73 without loss.
Liam Hurt's going to continue from the Radcliffe Road end. 3 overs for 25. I'm sure he's either beaten the bat or on the outside edge or the inside edge to hit the pads yet. If they don't crack on, I won't be able to commentate on his over. I looked at the clock and thought, oh, 3 minutes, I'll be able to do this over. And now we've got to the position where neither batsman's ready. No. The fielders aren't that bothered anyway.
They all want lunch. 92 more required.
Alex Thompson warming up again at slip. Just having a rest, perhaps. After bowling 4 overs or whatever it was this morning he bowled. Wasn't so many.
Hamid taking a fresh guard. He's played positively today, 36 from 41 deliveries. Got off the mark with a boundary to the first ball of the morning.
Show the ball to the umpire now as well.
There we
Good
are.
grief.
Yeah, after the brief hold up. So whoever's been holding the ball throughout that 3 or 4 minute stoppage hasn't.
Yeah, it's been changed.
Hasn't looked at it at all, obviously. And the captain goes across to Neil Malinder and he
absolutely
says,
pitiful.
Well, they do say there might be a shower or two about a little later on in the afternoon, but I don't think they're going to be able to drag it out until that particular time. But yeah, we've had 14 overs in the first hour. Nottinghamshire have moved on from 3 without loss to 73 without loss.
Why on earth?
I know what you're going to say.
Why on earth have we just had? I mean, fair play. The batsmen are sweating. They're wearing helmets. I've got a problem with that. Have a drink. Yeah, no problem. Have a bit of a rest. Have a chat. But why don't you show the ball to the umpires while they're doing that? Yeah. Then we could have changed the ball instead of the 2 12th men coming on again with a drink.
I was going to say, I thought that was the point you were going to make. The fact they've just been on and brought Ben Slater a drink.
How thirsty is Ben Slater? For goodness sake. Come on, Ben. You're better than that. You're better. It's 12 o'clock now.
Yeah, but he's got time to do it. Because
of course he has. Of course he has. But it's madness, isn't it? Absolute madness.
Yeah.
Welcome to first-class cricket.
And with that, Mr. Fletcher goes. You might hear a slam of the door as he exits the commentary box. 73 without loss. So the replacement ball has been selected by umpire Malinder. He now lobs it to Billy Godleman, the Derbyshire skipper, who holds it in his left hand, inspects it. And Billy Godleman looked at it and then turned back, and umpire Malinder was obviously playing a joke on him. He'd either given him the old ball or maybe a dog-chewed one, because then he takes that back off him and gives him the replacement ball. That was good. Big afternoon for umpire Malinder, because he's a staunch Leeds United fan, watches them at every opportunity. He's massively involved in their relegation fight this afternoon. Good delivery from Hurt this time. just nips away off the seam. He's through to the keeper. Yes, he's desperate for them to avoid relegation this afternoon. He'll want to be finished by 4 o'clock, rest assured of that. 73 without loss. Liam Hurt sets off again, running away from us at the Radcliffe Road end. Bowls to Hamid, who just plays it gently square of the wicket on the offside. Takes a run. 74 without loss. Not approaching the halfway point of their chase. 74 on the board. They require 91 more. There'll be an update for Radio Nottingham in a moment or two. If Nottinghamshire do go on to win, they'll take 23 points from the game. Likely to be behind Middlesex, even if they're held to a draw by Durham. May well be that the Middlesex go on to win anyway, but they're not going to lose. So Notts will be, if they win this, if they will be second in the table after 6 matches. Bouncer from Hurt that Slater ducks underneath. Sharp bouncer from Slater, from Hurt, forcing Slater to duck underneath it. Nottingham News were all about the City 10K that was held this morning, and now the Premier League football, and now the cricket. Where Nottinghamshire well on their way to winning their 4th county championship game of the season. They've been set to score 165 to beat local rivals Derbyshire, and as I say, they're nicely on course. They're 74 without loss. Ben Slater and in particular Asiba Mead have played positive this morning. Hamid is on 37. There was a slight opportunity there which goes to ground. Ben Slater on strike, he's on 30. So Notts require 91 more. Lunch is at 1 o'clock. The smart money would be that this will be finished sometime early afternoon. Nottinghamshire 74 without loss. So that one hurried on to Slater from Liam Hurt. He was through with a shot, mistimed it and did loop up for a moment, but fell between 2 fielders. It was off the bat. I just wondered for a moment if it had been the helmet, but clearly they've not needed to call the physio just to check him out. Yes, Hurt in once more, and Slater this time does go on the pull down to long leg, controlled it nicely, rolled the wrists and takes a single. 75 without loss. Liam Hurt testing out Slater with the short pitch delivery.
A better over from Liam Hurt with this changed ball.
Is it growing on you?
No.
No. Did you see the byplay between umpire Malinder and Billy Godwin?
I heard there was some laughter out there. I couldn't quite work out what was going on.
Well, obviously Malinder went to the suitcase and selected a ball, and whether he'd got, I don't know, something the dog had chewed, or a pretend ball or a rubber ball or something in his pocket, I don't know, but Billy came towards him and he lobbed the ball to it. Billy caught it, turned away, had a look at the ball and immediately turned round and realised he'd been done. Malinder was holding the proper cricket ball in his other hand, and he'd lobbed him something that certainly wasn't fit for purpose. That's a sharp delivery from Liam Hurt. Asiba Mead limbo dances his way out of that one, and it goes through to the keeper. 75 without loss. We've had 17 overs in the innings, 15 this morning. Notts need 90 more.
Yeah, good delivery to finish off with there from Liam Hurt. But well, it's more than slipping away here. It's pretty much slipped, I would suggest, from a Derbyshire perspective. They're 75 without loss. And Alex Thompson's back. Of course he is. Still to see Nick Potts, unless there's an injury. Alex Alex Hughes or Leas Deploy. You'd think he'd be changing bowlers almost every couple of overs, really, searching for a wicket. But
I agree with you. Hope it's not one of those, Notts need 10 to win, Nick have a bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, you see,
what is to be gained in that
you
scenario?
do see it in club cricket a lot, don't you, where the youngster gets to go in the first team, and when the game's gone, the captain throws him. I hate that. Absolutely hate that.
Agree with you.
Potts is at mid-wicket at the moment. I'm sure he won't complain. As Alex Thompson begins a new over from the pavilion end, and onto the back foot goes Ben Slade. He sets off for a single, has he? But he'd had absolutely no intention.
I think he had to send him back twice.
Yeah, get back. Thompson bowled 5 overs earlier for 25. And bowled a maiden last night. This is effectively his 3rd spell. And he's in now on balls, and that one is left alone. Good bounce that time. Well judged by Ben Sledge, who got his bat nice and high out of the way as it went through to Brooke Guest. Thompson ready again. All very upright. Alex Thompson in and bowls, and this one is pushed out into the offside. Left arm goes up from the bowler. Not sure why, but it did. Ball is pushed out into the offside. The helmet is being brought out just when you thought that the game couldn't slow down anymore. One of the helmets that was out before, that was taken off, is now back out again. Be showing the helmet to the umpire because it's gone out of shape. He's also got the towel that he's going to stick down the front of his pants. Look, big towel. Thanks very much. It's bizarre. It always does that. Is deployed as the big towel down the front of his pants to as added protection. Here is Thompson. He's very close. Is deployed. That one's hit straight at Alex Hughes and rebounds off him into the ground. That's a drop chance, really, isn't it? If you're going to field that,
it looked on the full, didn't it?
It did. It's hit him. He's shaking out his right arm now. Pen's gone. Next delivery from Thompson is defended by Ben Slater out into the offside.
Yeah, it looked on the full.
I'll make a note.
Not much movement in any of the other matches going on this morning. There's only 3 other games going on now, of course. Essex defeating Lancashire after, was it 13 minutes this morning?
Here comes Thompson again, bowls. That one is defended. Straight back down the pitch to the bowler. It's always difficult at short leg, I suppose, isn't it? But
it went quickly to him, but it seemed to strike him, but not his hands. At Wantage Road, Northants have avoided the follow-on, so that's going to be a draw. They're 377 for 9, 142 behind Kent with the 1 wicket left. Warwickshire still 3 down. They're 101 for 3, trailing Yorkshire by 104 at Headingley. And in Division 2, Durham haven't lost any wickets today. They're 75 for 3. Now leading Middlesex by 3, and in the tour matches, really old strange affair at Guildford, Sri Lanka 372 for 9, Surrey 240 for 1, Ryan Patel out for a century, and Geddes is 96 not out. Sussex 45 without loss against the New Zealanders.
Liam Hurt's getting a 5th over.
Yes, indeed. Here he comes, lots of energy, lots of bustling aggression. Bowls to Hamid, who just pushes it out as far as Mitch Wagstaff, who's still without a name or number, but we know who he is because he's been on the field for much of the last 24 hours. In fact, much of this game, in truth.
Yeah.
Nottinghamshire 75 on the board. 2 slips, Thompson and Madsen.
He's definitely got a number because he's played in List A, so he'll have a number. Perhaps the cricket manager wasn't around to put the number and the name on the back.
This Hurt, passed on by Milnes, bowls and cut away by Hamid. Out to Shan Masood, eyes on the ball, Shan, yep. Stops it from embarrassing him. And a decent return, 76 without loss. Hamid on to 38, Slater 31. Getting the job done for Notts. 89 more required, but we've only got 48 minutes left before lunch.
They're going to put the foot on the pedal here. We will be back. You're right. It's good for the Nottinghamshire Notts County talk anyway.
Yes, and the what do they call it? The concessions around the concourse, the opportunity to perhaps sell a burger or two, or a glass or two of foaming liquid. 1 or 2 Sunday lunches in the cricketers' suite on the first floor here. It's Hurt again running away from us. Bowls, and Slater turns it away on the leg side. Good stop by Deploy, but they go through for a single nonetheless. Sunset Strip 77 without loss. Slater 32, Hamid 38. That'd be well before your time. I can only remember it black and white at my grandma's telly. Saturday night, 77, Sunset Strip, one of the first American cop shows. Lots that followed, of course, weren't there? Starsky and Hutch and
Kojak.
What was the 2 women, Sharon Glass and Tyne Daly?
Oh, yes.
77 without loss. Hill Street Blues, Kojak, yeah, Ironside. This one's pushed back to the bowler, Liam Hurt. Cagney and Lacey, that's it, yeah. Yeah. Like that. 77 without loss. Wasn't she the one that played at the Bunny Boiler in Basic Instinct? Or Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction. Yeah. Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, wasn't it? Not very good with films. This one's worked away behind square. In fact, go as far as to say I never watch any. 78 without loss.
I thought that was Meryl Streep.
Well, I've heard of her.
Yeah, one of the finest actresses of the late 20th and early 21st century. I don't watch many films, I must admit. But
my good lady was doing the online Saturday night pub quiz on the telly when I got in last night, and just came in, and there was an actress. Who's that? I don't know, never seen her before in my life. Who's that? Oh, I know who she is. I know. Well, write it down if you know it. Oh, can't think. Ooh. Anyway, she didn't get it, and then she was kicking herself as Hurt bowls and pushed away onto the offside. I'm only any good for flags or capitals or the odd bit of sport. 79 without loss, but it's the end of the over. But then the answers came round, and even before the answers came round, oh no, it is. She was in Herbie. She took the grandkids to see Herbie. No, in Herbie. She was in Herbie. I don't know. I've not seen Herbie, and I don't know who she is. Anyway, it's Lindsay Lohan. It's Lindsay Lohan. Oh, should have got her. Yeah, you should. I had no idea. I'd honestly never seen her before in my life. With all due respect to the works of Ms. Lohan, I'm not familiar with her acting career. She's probably not familiar with my cricket commentating career either. So we're level.
I think she's a big listener.
Drop us a line, Lindsay.
Yeah.
79 without loss.
Well, listening. Is Alex Thompson continuing from the pavilion end. Bowls to Ben Slater, who goes back and cuts it very nicely beyond the dive of Sam Connors. They'll come back for a second run as Shan Masood does the fielding out in the deep. And they'll move on to 81 without loss.
We did have a fruitless conversation years ago about Mini Driver, and I thought she was, yeah, but what's her name? It's Mini Driver, yeah, but what's the actress's name?
Not bothered what kind of car she's got.
Exactly. Again, Minnie, if you're listening.
She's more likely to be. She's English. This one's pushed out into the offside by Ben Slater, although we do go around the world. It might be early in Hollywood. That's thrown back in by Shan Masood, another single to Ben Slater.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I know, you've not put Dave, you're an idiot, but I know I'm an idiot when it comes to actresses and films and what. He's put it was Glenn Close, and yeah, it was
Glenn Close.
Yeah, it was Glenn Close.
That was it.
It wasn't Sharon
right.
Glass.
No.
Thanks, Nick. It's it really isn't. I won't even say an area of expertise. I know nothing about films or actors or actresses. Nothing.
Thompson over the wicket to... Oh, no, he's not. There's a problem with something. The helmet's moved further back by about 1.5 inches by Wayne Madsen. Now he comes in, does Alex Thompson over the wicket to Hasib Hamid. Turns it backward a square on the leg side.
We do have amongst our number in the BBC County Cricket commentators gang, sort of people who would drop that in just to get a response from listeners, knowing full well it wasn't Sharon Gless, it was Glenn Close, but I genuinely don't know and didn't know.
This next one is defended by Hamid out into the onside Wagstaff fields.
Is it called drawing the listeners in or getting them to engage or whatever?
Almost fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think my listeners know that by and large I've not got many areas that I'm too knowledgeable about. All right with flags, like I say, in capitals. That's where you want me.
Next delivery is defended out into the offside by Hasib Hamid. Wayne Madsen comes around from slip to do the fielding.
Nottinghamshire cricketers of the last 2 years, maybe. Getting to the point now where even beyond that is sometimes out of my realm.
Another man close in. The helmet's been called for by Leas deploying, umpire Malander still desperate to get off in time to watch Leeds get relegated.
It's a nice day, isn't it? Nice day.
It's a beautiful day. That's a disappointment as well for the Derbyshire bowlers. In comes Thompson and bowls, and that's pushed into the offside again by Hasib Hamid. It's the end of the over. Why do they always, and everybody does it, it's not a criticism of Derbyshire, but they always wait till the last ball of the over to put the man under the helmet close in. It doesn't necessarily work, and then he won't be there for the next 5 deliveries bowled by that bowler. It's all very strange.
Perhaps Billy knows the rain is on its way. Thanks to Dave Palmer, because he says, good morning, gents. Really enjoying the commentary from you both over the last few days. I've listened to lots and lots of commentaries last season. Before it started saying it doesn't have a place in the cricket season. Wondered your respective thoughts. Not quite sure where, what you're leaning towards,
what doesn't
Dave.
Have a place?
Yeah, cricket commentaries, the BBC cricket commentaries.
As a freelance,
well,
I would suggest it very much has a place.
Yeah, not sure, Dave, where what you're leaning towards, but I know since the live streams came in, and I think even more people have sort of got engaged, haven't they, with following the county championship and enjoying it. And to be fair, it does add so much to it, the pictures. Here's Liam Hurt round the wicket, bowls pulled away by Slater, not properly timed. He'll get 2 runs here because Shan Masood's got to run 30 yards to his right. Slater on to 38, he's one behind Hamid now, 84 without loss. Dave Palmer said it meant the 100.
Nice mention. I'll pass for now.
I'm
already simmering.
I was going to say, the thing is with the 100, and I don't know if Dave's the same or whatever. Genuinely, whenever there was a game on either here or elsewhere last year, because of the way the fixtures were, I was with Notts. The commentating on the Royal London, on the way to a Royal London One Day Cup game, or on the way back from a Royal London One Day Cup game. This it's banged in short and it goes through to the keeper. And like I've always said, the same stance. They can devise whatever competitions they want. They can make them wear flippers and a wetsuit, but please just leave the county championship alone. That's all I want. That's all I want. In fact, I don't want them to leave it alone. I want them to put it back to 2 divisions of 9.
Couldn't agree more.
But there we are. Andy says Cannon, Harry O, I don't remember that. The Streets of San Francisco, or Y50. Oh,
Cannon, yeah, Jim Cannon.
Yeah. Y50 was all right. Next ball is dropped on the leg side. Used to play darts with a lad, a chap who's a bit older than me, but back when I was in my early 20s, when I came home from the Air Force, and he always said, me and you one day, Dave, me and you one day, we'll go to Hawaii. It never happened. Policewoman, no, don't remember that. The Rockford Files, Jim Rockford, yes, saw that one. Beretta, no, that wasn't one I watched. There's some of the more cop shows you may or may not recall. Thanks, Andy. That's twigged a memory or two. I think Mr. Fletcher is just quietly reflecting on one or two of those. Slater pulls this one, and again out as far as Shan Masood, and he's caught up with Hamid. 39 each, pint for the marker. 85 without loss. Glenn Ferguson. Yeah, he's just referring to another tweet that happened. Dan Norcross joining Martin Emerson on commentary at Lords. Wow. I should have read it before I.
Wow.
Nothing to do with this game. But thanks, Glenn, for getting in touch.
Contrasting styles there.
Warm sunshine on the back of Liam Hurt as he bowls to former Lancashire teammate Asiba Mead. Pushes it back to the bowler, who can't do a little bit of keepy-uppy and has to bend down, pick it up, throw it to Mitch Wagstaff. 85 without loss. More vapour trails overhead. I don't think they call vapour trails. I've always called them vapour trails,
right,
but I've been on with one or two more learned colleagues who say no, they're called this, that or the other. At Lords last week, I should have asked the question there, because I had the right man to ask. We had Ricky Elcock with us in the commentary box, who is of course an airline pilot. This one short, didn't get up as high as Hamid thought it would, and might have brushed him either on the chest or on the glove, but deflected down into the slip corner. 85 without loss. Ricky Elcock, the former Worcestershire and Middlesex quick, who had to retire from the game, and we sort of had him on commentary when he said, well, I decided to take up flying, and like I said to him, you hear of people, my brother was one, I fancy getting my pilot's licence, I'm going to have a go at that, and 2 or 3 years later you sort of hear them say, yeah, I got my pilot's licence, do you want to come up in my microlight or my hang glider or whatever? Ricky Elcock flies 747s to and fro from Heathrow or Gatwick to New York City or Barbados.
Colin Croft's another.
He is,
yeah, pilot,
yeah.
He's quick.
He flew the Learjets or whatever. He flew around the Caribbean. But Ricky Elcock, the proper big things. Your 747s and your Airbuses and things.
Alex Thompson from the Pavilion End bowling to Ben Slater, defended to the man at short mid-off, who is silly mid-off, who is Lears deployed. Tranmere Rovers run out to the theme from the Rockford Files.
Is that one of Half Man Half Biscuits?
No.
I thought they did all their music.
No. Next delivery is played off the back foot out into the offside.
And of course Everton run out too.
Z-Cars.
Theme from Z-Cars, yeah. Johnny Todd, I think it's called. Johnny Todd. I mean, very often you don't hear the words, but there are words to it.
That was filmed just up the road, wasn't it? From Goodison. Next delivery is defended again by Ben Slater.
It's sometimes strange when you know a tune and then you hear it with words to it. It's like the theme from MASH as well. I mean, we all knew it from the TV series, and then it was brought out with the words, wasn't it?
Suicide is painless.
That's it.
Thompson in again. That one turns and bounces and is not taken cleanly by Brooke Guest.
Sorry, folks, we do tend to wander down one or two mystery cul-de-sacs during the course of a day. Sometimes it indicates that the cricket is not necessarily the most riveting. We can't say that because it's still cut and thrust.
Well, it's more thrust than cut at the moment, isn't it?
I think we talked yesterday about percentages when not set out on their journey of a victory target of 165. I think that they'd probably be in the 90% right now, wouldn't they, to get this job done? But
I think it started there and now it's virtually 100. This next one is driven out into the offside by Ben Slater, half stopped by Mitch Wagstaff, who completes the job as he scrambles back to his feet. It's the end of the Thompson over. The maiden bowled 9 overs, 4 maidens, 0 for 28. Slater 39, as has Hasib Hamid.
Here's one. Kevin Tilston says, one change I would bring in for the county championship is to change a new ball after 60 overs. It gives bowlers a better chance to take wickets. Skilled batters can still get the runs and stop the procession of part-time bowlers between overs 70 and 80, and also to help get through the overs quicker. So there's one from Kevin. I mean, we've all got
Poor
our,
old
our
part-time
ideas.
bowlers that have to bowl between 40 and 50, wouldn't they? Or 50 and 60 or whatever. Yeah,
We're sort of changing the ball every 5 overs at the minute, Kevin,
exactly,
with this batch.
One from each end.
Sam says, afternoon chaps, I can say I started following county cricket after giving the online BBC commentary a go. The county championship felt a bit remote before I discovered that. Thanks, Sam. It's a fabulous competition. Nick Potts is going to come on, as Dave points out, down below us.
It looks silly now, but I'm glad. I think this is a good move from Billy Godleman. 4 for 50 in the first innings. Career best.
Here he comes from the Radcliffe Road end. Is this my end? He's in bowls, and Hamid pushes it up to the captain, Godleman. What are you going to do with it, Billy? Are you going to throw it all the way down the other end to Brooke Guest, or are you going to hang on to it?
Hold on to it this time.
It's a decent start. Right on the money.
Having been ignored an hour ago, I'm going to give it another go. Well, they've got one more chance.
The trials and tribulations of Dave Fletcher and getting on air with BBC Radio Derby. I'm so thankful for the for the crew at BBC Radio Nottingham. Shouldn't call them crew. The wonderful guys and gals that get us on air. Next one's driven through the offside by Hamid. A chase for Shan Masood. He'll cut it off, and there's an ambled couple of runs to the do we call him the former England batsman, Asib Hamid. 10 test caps now. I wonder when number 11 will come around. He's certainly got to find a bit more consistency if he's to get a recall or a spate of injuries. Just the 1 century so far this season. He looked good today though. He's played very positively and now guides this away for 4. Opened the face, there's nobody at third man, and Asib Hamid, from that foolish delivery, deliberately played it down towards third man. It's retrieved just in front of the pavilion seats, and behind it the Nottinghamshire committee look on. 91 without loss. Hamid has 45, 74 more required. We've only got half an hour or so before lunch, so we'll certainly be back after lunch. A little bit of a hold up here once Billy Godleman has a word with the bowler, just asking if he wants a third man put in. Gary says, Dave, remember playing against you at Cornton in the South Notts? Your old side had a thumping win yesterday. Thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, saw they did. And if you played against me, Gary, I can only apologise. Next one's dropped on the leg side, and there's no run. Had a bit of the James Pattinson white line fever at times, but I'd always be the first to put my hand in the pocket afterwards. That was always part of the old club cricket scene, wasn't it? Let's play hard but fair on the field and then go and have a pint afterwards. Didn't tell me who he played for, Gary, but good times. Next ball is outside the off stump. Hamid threw the bat at that one. Goes through to the keeper, Brooke Guest. It's a little loose there from Asib Hamid, and he's rehearsed the stroke 2 or 3 times. Nottinghamshire 91 without loss. Not got the stats to hand, but I would imagine this is the highest opening partnership of this season between this pair. Next ball on its way, cut away for 4 by Hamid. This was closer to the diving second slip Wayne Madsen, but he finds the rope nonetheless. Went very quickly, again deliberately played, and Hamid on to 49, 95 without loss, and Nick Potts first over went for 10. Yes, I'll try and pull that up during the lunch interval if I remember. Yeah, I can't see a scenario where Slater and Hamid would have had a century partnership this season. Certainly not at Hove, where they only batted once, and Slater made 1, Mead 5. Against Glamorgan, first innings, Slater 17, Mead 34. Second innings, they both got ducks. Yeah, it won't have happened. This will have been the highest partnership this season. Of course, they had a double 100 at New Road last year. Where Nottinghamshire 95 without loss. I think we're well on the way to seeing a Nottinghamshire victory, maybe early afternoon. They still require 70 more lunches at 1 o'clock. Been a really positive approach this morning by Ben Slater, who's on 39, but in particular Asiba Mead. He's normally the more secure and watchful of the duo, but he's on to 49 already. Just hit a couple of boundaries away from young Nick Potts. Tough odd morning for Derbyshire. They've not created any opportunities. Notts need 70 more to win. They're 95 without loss. Alex Thompson in his 10th over, bowling to Ben Slater. Again, happy to defend. Notts 5 away from reaching 3 figures. Mead on 49. So there's my update for BBC Radio Nottingham. I'm looking at Mr. Fletcher and unable to detect whether he's come back any happier than when Mr. Grumpy left. Single taken, 96 without loss. Did he get on air?
I have been on the radio. There's a slight change as well before 1 o'clock, because they've got a timed news bulletin. They clearly don't trust me, so I've got to go on at 5 to 1 rather than 1 o'clock. Could be all over by then. Not quite.
Take it away then, Mr. Thompson, without the P.
Balls to Hamid, who's got his 50 with a straight drive to the offside of the stumps at the far end, and he thoroughly deserves that. He's been very, very entertaining this morning. 61 deliveries for his half century as he waves his bat in all directions around Trent Bridge. He's going to get a handshake as well from Ben Slater. He's taken. He's been out there 103 minutes, 61 deliveries, as I say, and 8 falls.
Very well played. Asiba Mead has been unusually positive this morning. That would, I guess, have been a message from the dressing room this morning. Let's go out there, be positive. Let's not leave anything to chance.
Slater defends the final ball of the over, straight back to Alex Thompson, who tosses it away to Sam Connors. And it's the end of the over. 97 without loss now. Ben Slater has 40, Asiba Mead has 50, and Nottinghamshire require just 68 more runs to win. They're not going to get them before lunch, but they will get them very early in the afternoon session, there's no question. I thought Nick Potts' first over was probably better than a 10-run over.
Yeah, had there been a third man in,
a third slip would have taken the catch.
Well, a third slip, yeah, or a third man, and those 8 runners down there would have been just 2 singles.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about the third man.
No, but
let's have some more attacking. Where are they going to take a wicket with this field?
Oh, Gary said he plays for Allsworth. Oh dear. Memorable teas, and first time I met Janet Meal, a true Cornton legend. Yes, sadly we lost Janet, Gary, in the winter. There's Potts bowling to Hamid. This one's cramped him up for room. Yes, Allsworth. Yeah, there was one or two tense encounters between Cornton and Allsworth. There was a semi-final played somewhere that I remember that Cornton got the better of. Don't know where that was played. It was played on neutral ground, I'm sure. Don't know if you were playing in that one, Gary. 97 without loss. Hamid has 50. Slater has 40. Potts bowls. Hamid will cut this again through the offside and we'll get a boundary, and Notts go into 3 figures. We've had protection out there for much of the morning, but Dave's right. Derbyshire have got to try things, but that meant that There was a space on the offside and Hamid found it. Applause for the century, up 101 without loss. And I think the Nottinghamshire dressing room, I would imagine they'd have been fairly calm anyway, but there won't be too many that will be overly concerned about the potential outcome of this one. Certainly those maybe from the captain downwards, 6 downwards in the order. Won't be expecting to have to go out to bat today. Potts, and there's 4 more. That's a lovely shot from Hamid. Looks a decent touch, and it is all about, I guess, the mindset. I mean, from the very first ball of the morning, he was positive. He punched it away from Sam Connors for 4 through mid-wicket. You know, sometimes, even if batsmen do, I'm not necessarily saying Hamid, but if they go out there, you know, we mustn't lose a wicket for half an hour, defensive mindset, you know, that could have been just gently pushed away that first ball of the morning. But no, he was all over it, pinged it to the boards, and sort of got him going, didn't it?
Yeah, they haven't bowled well at all, Derbyshire, today. Anybody. I was disappointed with Liam Hurt. I expected a bit more from him, but Sam Connors hasn't bowled well.
Andrew's saying, could lunch be delayed? Yes, it could. Just depends how close they are. I mean, it's, what, 22 minutes to 1. I think the wheels would really have to come off, or would really have to set about the bowling and score quickly. Let's have a see, though. Potts bowls, and Mead lets this go through to the keeper. It's the thing with cricketers and lunchers and umpires and lunchers, they don't like to miss out on a meal. I know the meal would still be there, but I think they'll have the interval. As I say, get the money behind the beer taps and the burger stalls and whatever. I'm
trying to work out what your definition of wheels coming off. I think they're already off.
There'll have to be some poor deliveries, I think, to get 60 runs in 20 minutes. And he takes a single, moves to 106 without loss. Andy says, hi, I'm sat in the seats below you, or was sat in the seats below you yesterday debating the first T20 11 that will be fielded. We'll be interested to see, as there are as many candidates, only 11 shirts available. I'd say only Hales, Duckett, Clark, Christian and Patel are nailed on. Will Mulaney take a step back? Wouldn't imagine so, but don't know. I mean, what was it last year? Hales, Clark, Duckett, Christian, Patel, Mulaney, Moores, that's 7. Jake Ball 8. Fletcher 9. Don't know about the other overseas, whether it be Pattinson or Patterson or neither of them, as this one's off the thigh pad. Matt Carter, of course, he'll come in. Calvin Harrison will come in. So where did I get to? Moores 7. I'm not saying this is the batting order. The 2 spinners, well, that would mean 8 and 9, Fletcher and Ball. I'll go with that, Andy, as you've asked me, and I want to get back to this game. I will go Hales, Clark. This isn't batting order, but Hales, Clark, Duckett, Christian, Mulaney, Patel, Moores, Harrison, Carter, Fletcher, Ball. There you go. We'll see how close, but that's just off the top of my head. There's probably 2 absolutely brilliant and certain nailed on T20 players there that I've forgotten, but let's put that out there as you asked me. 106 without loss.
Is that just one overseas then?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I think they'll both be around, but they might give him a blow. I don't know.
Alex Thompson to continue from the pavilion end, bowls to Hamid, who goes a long way forward and pushes it out into the offside. It's fielded by Nick Potts.
As usual, it's a long old competition, 14 games crammed into 3 weeks or whatever it is, and there'll be players come in and players go out, and if you've already qualified, you'll rotate it a bit more, or if you can't qualify, you'll rotate it a bit more. I've probably forgotten 1 or 2.
Thompson balls and it's slapped into the leg side. Possibility of a chance here for Shan Masood out in the deep, and it's gone over his head, bounced over the rope for 4 runs. Never ever looked like he was going to catch it. He sort of ran around it a bit.
It's funny, I had my money on the sensational diving one-hander. I thought he's had me having a bit of a pop at his fielding once or twice in the game, and he's going to pull off one of the most sensational catches we've ever seen here, an Angelo Matthews type catch on that boundary. Brilliant one-handed diving effort, but it didn't happen for him.
This one's turned into the leg side, straight to Mitch Wagstaff on this occasion. Hamid's up to 63 now, 110 without loss.
Nick says, Dave, that's the exact same 11 both me and my mate agreed on at work on Friday.
They're the selectors. Excellent. Well, you've got it right then. This next delivery is defended by Hasib Hamid.
We'll ask Mr. Fletcher to
haven't a
offer
clue.
up his...
I've not got a clue.
Well, I haven't really, but...
Most of these players, because they haven't got anybody else. Mark Wattle obviously come in. Scotland captain. Thompson bowls and he's crashed out towards the mid-wicket boundary for 6. Just had the legs to get over the rope. That is a long hit. We're not talking one of those pathetic sixes earlier on in the match. That's a proper 6.
He's got somewhere he wants to be.
116 without loss, and Hamid moves up to 69. They need 49 more runs to win Nottinghamshire.
Crikey. Harry says Andy's mad. Without Mulaney, knots aren't the same. He's our best finisher with the bat and our best bowler. My concern is he'll get picked up by England and be unavailable. That's not going to happen, Harry. And Andy's certainly not mad. Entitled to his views as we all are. But yeah, Stephen Mulaney's been an integral part of Nottinghamshire's success because he skippered the side last year when, the very last moment, Dan was already here, ready to play, and in the week of the first game he was selected by Australia, I think, for a tour. Was it the Caribbean?
It was indeed, yes. That was a disaster for Derbyshire as well. That one's turned into the leg side. Ben McDermott was here for Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Played a couple of championship matches in place of Billy Stanlake, who went home with a broken back, and was then whisked off to the West Indies, where he played in that series and didn't get picked in the World Cup squad because all the World Cup players were having a rest, so it was slightly shambolic. 116 without loss, Slater 40, Hamid 69, 49 to win.
Mark Hefter, Dave, feel that across the country pitches are getting easier throughout the game. It leads to more games going the distance and having to really work hard for wickets, but maybe a bit more wear to aid spinners isn't happening these days. A ball issue maybe more than pitchers. Thank you, Mark, for getting in touch. At Brace Cricket, at Fletch Sport. Genuinely appreciate the correspondence we get through the course of the games. Long old days, aren't they, Dave, when there's just the two of us, as this has worked away on the leg side. And for a single, I think we've both done days occasionally, all too occasionally, thankfully, where we've been on our own as well over the years. But without our listeners and without the correspondence to keep us going, it does become a long old chore, doesn't it?
Certainly can be.
And thanks to everybody that sort of tolerates us sort of every now and again veering away from the cricket and perhaps just reviving memories of the odd subject here and there. Talk about children's television and all of a sudden Twitter goes absolutely ape, doesn't it? What about this? What about that? Next one is steered into the offside and they take a single, 118 without loss.
On the subject of pitches, because it's been so dry since March, possibly even further back than that, they're being prepared and have been prepared as though they were the middle of August, because the ground staff have had so much time to prepare these pitches. They are virtually middle of summer pitches, which is very unusual for this time of year. Nor ordinarily in April, when the county championship, which has been marginalised as we know, gets underway, the pitches are all green and bowler friendly.
Next ball pulled away by Slater, out to Masood. Takes a single, 119 without loss. Ben Slater on to 42. Charlie says Hasib Hamid's putting in a late audition to get himself in the frame for the T20s. Only joking. Wonder about Friday, so myself, with so many young all-rounders. Harrison over Carter for me. Pleasure listening to both of you. Thanks very much, Charlie. Nice to see you again yesterday. On the ground, 119 without loss. I think Harrison and Carter, I think they played most of the matches last year together. Next ball is edged and dropped through the hands of Alex Thompson at first slip. I say dropped, I think he got a piece of his hand on it. But,
huge piece, straight through both hands.
Above his head, thrust his hands up quickly to react, and the ball was crossing the rope a split second later, and Potts was unlucky. Went very, very quickly. And it's gone for 4, 123 without loss. Mead on 74, as Simon Trafford says, is a Mead on his way to a century. Afternoon, guys. Afternoon, Simon. What does he want? He wants 26 and Notts need 42. Well, he could get there. There's Potts to bowl to a Mead, and it's a no ball, so that's 2 runs that he won't get. 125 without loss. I'm just wondering, all the people that have said it might be over before lunch, I'm just starting to wonder, Dave. All along I've said we'll come back, but it's only 40 now, 15
let's get
minutes.
it done. Let's get it done and dusted. Let's stay out there an extra 10 minutes. That's a terrible drop by Thompson, by the way.
What would you say? If they require less than 20, they'd stay out?
Yeah, hopefully. Well, we know what's happening, don't we? We all know the result.
125 without loss. Potts bowls and Hamid's got it away, and that's really good fielding by... Is that Deploy? No, it's Madsen. Madsen down on the ground.
38 years old.
He's at he's on the 45, saving 1, and he saved 1. In fact, he probably saved 4 with the dive, because without it, it was away and gone. I think Potts has gone for a few, but he could have had a wicket there. And he comes again, past umpire Milnes. Watches his front foot. This time he's happy with it, and again it's chopped to Madsen. End of the over. 27 overs have gone in the innings. 125 without loss. So this morning Notts have scored 122 runs in 25 overs.
If there's anybody out there who can tell me what on earth Derbyshire are doing at the moment, I'd be grateful, because it doesn't make any sense at all. They're trying to restrict runs. Well, that's pointless. We're down to 1 slip. They're not trying Lears to play with a long bowl this morning. At the moment, Billy Godleman's having a chat with Alex Hughes, who's removing his helmet. But whether or not he removes his fielding pads as well, I don't know. No, he's putting the helmet back on. It's all a bit from Derbyshire this morning. We didn't come here with massive hopes, but as Alex Hughes said to me last night, they've made a bit of a game of it. At least that it is a game rather than just a meek surrender. But this has been a fairly meek surrender this morning. The 2 batsmen have batted beautifully, don't get me wrong, but they have been allowed to bat beautifully by some fairly ordinary bowling. Here's Alex Thompson beginning another over from the pavilion end, and it's driven square on the offside. They think about 2, but are restricted to 1 by Shan Masood getting to the ball nice and quickly. And it's 126 without loss as Slater moves on to 43. Hasib Hamid on 74.
Durham have lost 2 quick wickets at Lords, Borthwick, and then skipper Ben Stokes, well, England captain Ben Stokes, second ball duck, 111 for 5, only lead Middlesex by 28.
Squirrel on the pitch at the far end, just next to the Batman board, as this one is driven out into the offside. There's 4 runs. Has it gone for 6? It's gone for 6. Out to the short boundary, driven over extra cover, and Hasib Hamid is a man in a hurry. 80 from 78 deliveries now. 132 without loss. Nottinghamshire require 33. Don't put the lunch on yet.
This is a terrific knock from Hamid. I was going to say I've rarely seen him, but I don't think we've seen him play an innings like this in Nottinghamshire colours. Yes, there's a victory target. There's obviously there is a squirrel. I wondered what on earth you were on about. And there is a squirrel.
Oh, squirrel on the pitch.
I was looking for the actual mascot, not the squirrel.
No. Proper squirrel, not all that mascot nonsense.
I've not seen that here before.
Yeah, squirrel on the pitch far end, near the boundary.
Yeah, by the Batman board. I don't know if the camera crew are able to.
Oh, it's making its way off now. It's trying to get up one of the sponsors' boards.
Yeah, the blue advertising board at the far end of the ground now. There it is on the live stream.
Thank you very much. In comes Thompson. There's cricket as well.
Nuts the squirrel.
But not much, as that one is turned into the leg side by Hasib Hamid. It's the right foot of Alex Hughes who manages to stop it.
I don't know how it's going to get out or where it's going to go, because those advertising boards.
It's slippery.
Yeah.
No, he got in. Here's go out the same way. This next delivery from Thompson's turned into the leg side by Hamid. He goes through for a quick single. It's a shy at the stumps from Sam Connors. It was actually intercepted by keeper Brooke Guest. Hamid moves to 81, 133 without loss.
Genuinely wondered what you're on about. There's a squirrel on the pitch at the far end, and then he comes to bowl and.
Well, I wanted to make sure we got the delivery, because after all, it is the job.
No, that's what it's right.
But yeah, there was definitely.
I was looking around for the mascot.
No. I would never mention a mascot.
I think is it hidden behind all the training gear?
Probably eating it now. This one is pushed up to mid-off by Ben Slater, knowing its way through something. That's the end of the over. 133 without loss. Hamid has 81, Slater has 43. The partnership, well, it's the same as the score, of course, and Nottinghamshire require 32 more runs to win, with around about 9 minutes to go until lunch.
We've not had an umpire's chat yet. I wondered if they might just have got together then and that over's decided it. What do you reckon? Yeah, let's but they haven't.
Yeah, let's stay out there. I've just got my pre-1 o'clock bizarrely update. I should be back.
Thank you, sir. 133 without loss. Still going to be Potts. So Asiba Mead 81 not out. Nottinghamshire require 32. Here's Potts to bowl to him. We'll just get a single, just sort of fiddle that one down to third man for the single. 134 without loss. Could have been a tricky old morning this for Nottinghamshire's top order, and a wicket or two gone down, but every credit to Slater and Hamid. Potts going to go round the wicket to the left-hander. I'm sure he'll be eyeing up a 50 of his own, Ben Slater. He's 43 not out. Next ball through him and into the gloves of the keeper. That's a good delivery on the angle from round the wicket. Nick Potts. Ben Slater just rehearsing his forward defensive push. Lots of encouragement for Potsy. Probably here on the effects microphone. There is the young man again. Oh, lost his stride totally. It'll delay things by 20 seconds or so as he has to make his return journey to the end of his mark. 134 without loss, Nottinghamshire. Ben Slater 43 on strike. Asiba Mead has played beautifully for his 82 at the other end. Run a ball 82, by the way, as Slater drags this on the leg side. Well fielded by Wagstaff. Could well have created a moment of indecision there, but it's a good call from one of them to wait. Yes, run a ball from Hamid now. He's 82 from 82, reached his 50 from 61, but since then he's hit a couple of sixes and really got on with it. Well, you see, those of you watching the live stream, 31 more required for victory. There's Potts trying to make the breakthrough. Slater cramped for room, jabs it down, and Wagstaff, keen, bubbly, just what you'd want from a 12th man, rushes in to prevent the run. So Notts next in action on Friday evening. In fact, Derbyshire in action as well Friday evening as the Blast starts. I think it starts on Wednesday, and Notts play Worcestershire, of course, on Friday. And I'm pretty sure they will have played a game more. I don't know if they're playing already. I don't know if they're playing on Wednesday or they're playing on Thursday, but it will be their second game when they come to Trent Bridge on Friday. Next one is defended on the leg side, so they will have had a little bit of a tune-up. Derbyshire playing the Bears, the Birmingham Bears, as they're frustratingly called, at the county ground on Friday evening. Of course, you'll be able to follow coverage of both matches. Derbyshire against Birmingham and Notts versus Worcestershire in all the usual places on Friday evening. 134 without loss. Slater forces this into the offside for a single to move to 44, and he'll keep the strike. 135 without loss. And of course next Sunday, I'm sure you'll have heard by now, the match that should have been here between Notts Outlaws and Northampton Steelbacks will no longer take place on the Sunday. That's been put back until the Monday evening to avoid the clash with Nottingham Forest's EFL Championship playoff final at Wembley, just so they don't play at the same time. But there will be cricket here at Trent Bridge next Sunday. The women's match will still go ahead, the scheduled T20 women's match. I think that's an 11 o'clock start, but give that a bit of a check if you plan on coming down here next week. Here's Madsen then back into the attack to bowl to Slater, drops it on the leg side. 135 without loss. I make it about 3 minutes to 1 o'clock. Notts require 30 more. Welcome back.
Lunch, isn't it? I think we'll get lunch. Madsen around the wicket, balls to Slater. There's an appeal for a caught down the leg side. It was a fairly half-hearted appeal, I think it's fair to say, by Madsen and wicketkeeper Brooke Guest. Umpires haven't had a chat at all, have they? So I think we will be going to lunch. That one's played off the back foot by Ben Slater out to Lears deployed extra cover.
I agree with you. I've not seen them in consultation.
I'm not basing this on anything.
No,
in fact,
no.
We have no knowledge.
We're always wrong, aren't we?
We have no knowledge. That one is driven nicely. Just a push drive out into the offside by Ben Slater. He moves on to 45, 136 without loss, 29 to win.
Feel a little sorry for Steve if he's got a talk planned, a presentation planned during the luncheon interval, and cricket goes on and everybody tootles off home. A real old shame.
Here is Madsen again over the wicket, balls to Hamid, a full toss that he bunts down the ground towards Billy Godman, who's long on. What's he doing down there?
He's on squirrel watch.
Yeah, perhaps going near his kit to make sure it didn't gnaw its way through his kit bag. 137 without loss. Slater back on strike, turns it into the leg side. There's another single on offer there as Alex Hughes with the fielding pads comes in from the boundary's edge. Slater gets a run and keeps the strike. He's 4 away from a half century. Nottinghamshire 138 without loss. Hamid 83. They need 27 more to win, and we'll know at the end of this over.
Well, it was very interesting, David. I was watching David Milnes, the umpire, walking in from square leg, and because it always appears when somebody's looking in this direction as they're looking at us, but of course just above us there's a clock at the Radcliffe Road end, and clearly umpire Milnes, as he was walking in, was taking note of the time or the clock above us. It's clearly the one they've been going by through this match. There's Potts round the wicket, bowling to Slater, and somehow he's played it down defensively, but it's gone through on the bounce to slip. Bottom of the bat down onto the ground and away. Can't even get a lucky drag on at the moment, Nick Potts, just to give him a little bit of encouragement of another wicket.
He's not had much luck, has he, in this brief spell of his.
Notts require 27 more. Derbyshire's over rate is -1. It's just popped up on the board as well. So let's hope they can sort that out. Maybe a reason that Madsen was brought on. I don't know. 138 without loss. It's been a little bit of a feeling over the last 3 or 4 years that they'll all sort it out at the end of the game and it'll be fine. There'll be a little bit of tinkering here and a little bit of leeway here and there, but
They can't do it now.
This season, no. It
gets locked in at the end of every session.
Notts, I think, were a little harshly dealt with at Lord's last week. Next ball, worked away on the leg side. They'll get a couple of runs. Yeah, Slater is going to come back. Masood fires it in. And Slater on to 48, 140 without loss.
Godwin and umpire Milnes just in conversation, and umpire Milnes is nodding and he's going on his radio now. So he's communicating with the scorers, presumably to say, look, 25 runs to win. Derbyshire have agreed we can stay out. Let's crack on.
Got a little bit of reaction to something I've just said, which is important. This is worked away on the leg side. Slater gets a single 49, 141 without loss. Steve Lamotte just quickly sending me a message to say, Dave, the presentation will go on whenever play stops for lunch, or if it's the end of the match, whichever is earlier. Many thanks for publicising it, Steve Lamotte, the Heritage Officer. There will be that presentation. I think it's on the first floor of the Radcliffe Road stand here, a couple of floors down below us. If you come across here, if you're listening in the ground, there are signs to it. Steve with a presentation. Hamid, little push onto the leg side, takes a single, and today it's the connection over the years between Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club and Notts County Football Club, and he'd love to see as many of you there as we possibly can. We're into the 1 o'clock news on BBC Radio Nottingham in my ears. 142 without loss. Notts require 23 more. Next ball worked away by Slater, can't get that single he needs, and it very nearly ran away from Wagstaff, who did really well to prevent a single. Now then, it's the end of the over. I make it 2 minutes past 1, and Billy Godalman's marching towards Liam Hurt, and I think the cricket's going to continue. Somebody out there, well, the umpires will have made a call, undoubtedly. We're going to give it 15 minutes or what have you, because it is after 1 o'clock in well, every direction I look, Dave. Yeah. Phone, watch, laptop, clock at the far end. So 23 more required. We're going to play till the end. Where this one is nearly finished in Nottinghamshire's favour. Remember, they were set to score 165 to beat local rivals Derbyshire. I think many predicted, including myself, it might take them a good portion of the day into the middle of the afternoon, but the openers have put paid to that because they're still there together. Asib Hamid has played particularly positively. A couple of sixes for the former Lancashire man. He's 84 not out. Ben Slater 49 not out. What that means is Notts require only 23 more runs to win. We should have had lunch at 1 o'clock, but the umpires have decided, because we're so close to a finish, this will go on. So Notts will probably win this in the next 15 or 20 minutes. They're 140 with another single taking Slater to 50. They're 144 not out, requiring 21 more. Well battered Ben Slater, 108 balls for his 50, 4 fours. He's played very nicely indeed. He's been outscored comfortably by Hamid today, but that's absolutely fine. It is all about partnerships, isn't it? Some players in some matches they very much see more of the strike, or manage to get the board turning over quicker than the other one, and another day it'll be the other way round. Another single taken by Hamid. He's on to 86, so he needs 14 out of 20. It may just be frustratingly short if he continues. If they both carry on here until the end, he may just be short of 3 figures. Slater defends. I wonder if Ben Slater will play for him. No, you have the strike, mate. From the Notts media team, thanks very much, Matt. Extra 15 minutes or 4 overs has been taken, whichever is the latter. Thanks very much. That's the official announcement.
Is that
thanks
the first
to Matt.
of them? That must be the first of them then. So 3 more overs till lunch.
Yeah, but then if only 2 are required or 3 are required,
they'll have to go off, Dave.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
They came back. They had 8 overs last night. Lancashire went off 9 down and came back for 13 minutes this morning, pointlessly. Here's Nick Potts, bowling from the Radcliffe Road end to Asib Hamid, who whips him into the leg side. That was a horrible looking shot. It's fielded by Liam Hurt down at backward square leg. He doesn't want to get himself out here, because this is a pretty decent innings of 87 from 88. And Notts Move on to 146 without loss now. They need 19 to win from 3 overs or 10 minutes. You pays your money and it takes your choice, apparently. Here is Potts again. One of those regulations I must start brushing up on. Bowls to Slater, who clips this one into the leg side for a single.
I think I've come across it once or twice, and it's sort of pointless brushing up on it because it is very much at the opinion of the umpires. And I know what you're saying about the 4 overs, but I think if not so within 2 or 3, they'll say we'll have another over, fellas. I genuinely think they will. But we'll see.
It's pointless having any regulations.
It's pointless saying, yeah,
it's pointless having any regulations if they're just going to make it up as they go along.
I think it's just to sort of make sure the batsmen sort of keep a bit of a tempo.
His next delivery is not Shockman batsman in any kind of tempo as he plays an inside edge.
If you were to say we'll
to Sam Connors at mid-on.
Sorry, if you were to say we'll play until the finish, then there's no. All the purpose has gone out of the intent to get over the line within the next few minutes, isn't it? We'll see.
It would be very cricket with 2 runs to win.
Derbyshire's over 8 is now 0 as well,
so
they're okay.
Here's Potts, balls, and oh dear, there's a wild swing at that one, Hasib Hamid. He thinks he's got to finish it by lunch, and he hasn't. He's played 3 very, very ordinary shots. He's just punched his right thigh as well with his hand there, because he knows he's played 3 very poor shots. He's got 1 run from the first of them, and the next 2 haven't gone anywhere. Would maintain his concentration.
Yeah, it would be a waste to get out now playing an un-Hamid-like hoik.
He's played 1. Got a single. Here is Potts in and bowls to him. That's better. He's driven it out towards the cover boundary. They've run the first one quickly. They're going to come back for the second as Masood picks up and throws it in. And Hamid moves into the 90s. He's on 91 from 92 deliveries. Nottinghamshire, no, he's not.
No, they beat you to it that time.
Blimey. How did they know he was going to get the 2? He's on 89 from 91 deliveries. It's 149 without loss.
Because he's listening to you. When you say he pushes it into the offside for 2, gospel.
Still don't trip me up like that. Happens so many times. And goes Potts and balls to Hamid, who pushes this one out into the offside. Mitch Wagstaff does the fielding. And it's the end of the second of 4 overs, or 5 or 6 or whatever, before lunch. 149 without loss. They need 16 from 2 overs, or, oh dear, that's a tricky sum, 7 minutes. But one of those overs, or the first of those overs, is going to be bowled by Wayne Madsen, so we'd get 5 in. And the last one would be bowled by him.
Don't want a wicket to go down because that would just slow things up all around. Derbyshire players and supporters wouldn't agree. This is forced into the offside, but I'm sure Derbyshire would have agreed to this anyway. I think once the umpires make a decision, they've made a decision, but I don't think there would have been any great protestation from Derbyshire had they been asked about, do you want to stay out and get it over with or come back later? Second ball of the overs pushed out, same as the first, to deploy, no run. Slater on 51. Wonder if he is just trying to leave enough runs for his batting partner to reach 3 figures. This is pushed to Wagstaff. Again, that would be fairly selfless, but I think the job is to get the team over the line. Again, he drives into the offside. It's almost like they're in a little bit of a net. A few throwdowns here from, with all due respect, from Madsen to Slater, and he's just running it into the offside to either deploy or Wagstaff. That's what's happened the first 4 balls of the over. Next one, well, this time he blocks it and doesn't get as far as deploy. Brooke Guest comes from behind the stumps. So this is 5/6 of the way towards a maiden. He's played it. I wouldn't have thought he's going to be pinching a single from the last ball to take the strike away from Hasib Hamid. It does look as if he's playing for his partner and he's defended this. Do you agree? end of the over,
Well,
149 without loss.
Yes,
It looked like that, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And watch Hamid take a single first ball now.
Derbyshire suddenly had players close to the bat. I mean, they hadn't bothered for the first 2 hours of the session. I've had one correspondent who said drifting again. I would tend to agree with that. This has drifted from a Derbyshire perspective since about 11 o'clock this morning. Here's Nick Potts bowling to Hasib Hamid. He's on 89 and he turns this into the leg side for the single off the first ball of the over, as Dave correctly predicted. He moves up to 90 and the Nottinghamshire 150 is up. It gets rather a larger, it's a 150 stand as well, of course, between these two. But I'm sure that most of the applause was for the partnership rather than the 150.
That does take Hamid to 90.
It is. This is why I said it. Here is.
Oh, sorry.
Here is Potts on his way in and bowls to Slater, who just turns this into the leg side for another single. He moves to 52, 151 without loss. Nottinghamshire require 14 more runs. A real test of the umpires, whether they've got any backbone and take the players off for lunch. Wouldn't accuse either umpire Mills or umpire Malander of not having backbone, not to their faces. Here goes Potts into Hamid. He's on 90 and he drives out into the backward point region. It's fielded by Shan Masood. A single is taken. He moves to 91, 152 without loss. 13 runs required. 3 minutes till lunch. Well, if they're true to their word.
Well, that's
that's
the information that's been
well,
passed.
absolutely, no,
passed
no,
across.
no. I'm not suggesting the information's not right. What I'm suggesting is that you can't just keep adding time on. There's player welfare there's commentator welfare. I think player welfare is probably more important. We're getting another slip now.
Yes, I don't think you or I entered into there.
I don't think they've given us a second thought, Dave. I don't think they've given us a second thought. Here's Potts in and bowls to Slater, who pushes this up to Billy Godleman, who's back at mid-off now, all is well with the world. It was long on before. Fooled me. Just mixing it up. So
It's been worth coming for the squirrel.
it was very strange. That's the second squirrel I've seen today. There's one on the walk from my hotel to the car park. Here is the luckless Potts. 2 balls left of this over. It's turned into the leg side. Now there are at least 2 runs here, you would have thought, for Ben Slater, as Sam Connors catches up with the ball now, and he does indeed get 2. Moves to 54, 11 runs to win, and Hamid is on 91 still. He doesn't want to take too many more. He certainly doesn't want to take a single from this ball, Ben Slater, I would respectfully suggest. If indeed he is batting for his batting partner. The clock has ticked around to 1:15, and this is the 4th of those 4 overs. Final ball of it, Potts bowls. Slater pushes it up to mid-on. It's fielded by Sam Connors. Umpire Milnes walks up to the stumps. He returns the cap and glasses to Nick Potts. And they're just going to ignore everything, really.
Yep.
They're just going to ignore everything. So there's no point in telling people that that's going to happen when it isn't going to happen. So Hamid will require the majority of these 11 runs to get to his century. At least there's some jeopardy.
There is. It's played very nicely.
Yes.
I think he got 90 odd at the county ground last year. Got a duck in the first innings and 90 odd in the second, if I remember rightly, which I should, but don't. Drives Madsen crisply down to Liam Hurt, who's
That's bad.
into the in the distance in front of the pavilion. Single taken, 155 without loss. Knots require 10. Hamid is 92 not out. Slater 54 not out. Next ball cut away by Slater. He'll take a single. 156 means they need 9.
It's got to be the last of the singles, really.
Might be a challenge for a Seba Mead if he's if Notts need 1 and he's 94 not out or something like that. He might really have to go big.
He's got a good boundary to do it.
Madsen's still looking for a wicket. He's in his 6th over, clipped away. There'll be a single here to a Mead.
Oh dear.
93 not out. 157 means Notts require 8. Been an enjoyable 4 days, Dave. I know Derbyshire and Derbyshire listeners won't necessarily have enjoyed the way it's gone. This will be Derbyshire's first defeat.
They won't have been surprised, though, I don't think.
157 without loss. Next ball tossed up and Slater drives. Liam Hurt had been brought up from his deepish position to conventional mid-off and saved the run. But looking forward to a reunion a little later in the season, the 2 blast matches, and obviously then the 4 days later in the campaign at Derby. Single taken by Slater, final ball of the over, so he's on to 56, 158 without loss. Notts require 7, and a Seba Mead at the non-striker's end is 93 not out, and we're going to have another over.
Yes, and we can disregard the nonsense. We were clearly fed. Oh look, there's Liz Deploy, bowled forever in the morning before play started, and now he's going to bowl what could be the last over of the entire match. 2 in 2. Work that out. Work that out. This is I've been having flashbacks all morning to last season, this morning, because this has felt very much like it felt last year, and I thought we'd dispensed with all that nonsense. They haven't attacked at any stage, I would respectfully suggest. I know they didn't have many runs to play with, but all the more reason to actually attack. Players are coming in now because they only need a few to... I mean, pointless. Just let them win now, because they've already won. It doesn't make any sense.
I like the loosener delivery as well. He ran in and pretended to bowl a loosener.
Deploy to wide. Interesting. That is interesting. That has sent an ooh around the crowd. A wide delivery that signalled wide makes it just 6 to win now, and Hamid needs 7 to get to a century. Deploy bowls a full toss and is smashed out to the mid-wicket boundary, the wide long-on boundary for 4 runs by Ben Slater, and there is Hasib Hamid's century gone.
Well, it could, if Slater doesn't get any more runs, he could get a single to get to 94 and then hit a 6, but I know what you mean. I suggest it's not going to happen.
There is his century gone.
I don't think we're going to have 5 dot balls here from
I'd be surprised.
Deploy.
I'd be surprised if Hamid actually had to face another delivery. Over to you, Dave. It's 2 to win.
It is indeed. Already pulled off 1 10-wicket victory this season, but they only needed a dozen down at Hove, first match of the campaign. Notts on the brink of another one. Terrific opening partnership. Deploy bowls and Slater drives through the offside. The winning runs for Ben Slater. He punches the air against his former county to go to 64 not out. Seba Mead 93 not out. Touch of the gloves from the 2 of them, and then a pat on the head from Slater to Hamid as the right-hander takes his helmet off. The Derbyshire players get together and all shake hands with each other and the umpires, and nice camaraderie out there between the 2 teams. Nottinghamshire pulled off a 10-wicket victory here, and they chased down 165 in 61.3 overs. to pull off the victory. They will take 23 points to Derbyshire's 5 points here. Ben Slater 64 not out from 127 deliveries. Asiba Mead 93 from 96. That's one of his most fluent innings in Nottinghamshire's colours. It's not been Derbyshire's match. It's certainly not been Derbyshire's morning here. Notts have got over the line for the victory. So once again, many thanks to Dave for sharing the 4 days with me. Thanks to all the listeners, of course, that's why we do it. Everybody that's got in touch, again, very, very kind of you. And as I said earlier, we'll very much look forward to A, the Blast starting, but B, being together before too long.
I'm not sure I'm looking forward to the Blast starting, but yeah, we'll see you in June. They're not going to have any players. We'll find out on Tuesday, I suppose, how many players they've got, because there's the friendly, don't forget, T20, first team friendly. It's a second team match, but it's the first teams that'll be playing it at the county ground in Derby, and everybody's welcome. Even you, Dave.
Thanks very much, Dave. Great ovation for the two Nottinghamshire openers. Asiba Mead 93 not out, and Ben Slater 64 not out, obviously leading the way off. Everybody just getting to their feet, having a bit of a stretch. This session's gone on quite long enough, 2 hours and 20 minutes or thereabouts. But it's Notts who get over the line. Derbyshire put in on the first morning, made 260. Notts responded with 358. Ben Slater's 86, the top score. Derbyshire came back with 262 yesterday. A ninth wicket partnership ensured we'd come back for a final day, with Notts set to score 165, and they've got over the line without losing a wicket. From Dave Fletcher, myself, Dave Bracegirdle, once again, we'll speak to you later on in the week when the Blast starts, and we'll very much look forward to your company then from both of us, from still a pleasantly warm and reasonably sunny Trent Bridge. We bid you a very good Sunday afternoon as we say goodbye from Trent Bridge.
Our thanks to the two Daves there, Dave Fletcher and Dave Bracegirdle, for their commentary over the last, well, shall we say, 3 and a little bit days. But thank you very much, gents. It's been very much appreciated. So there we have it, just after 1:20 on day 4, and it is Nottinghamshire that take the victory. Asiba Mead 93 not out, and Ben Slater 64 not out, getting Nottinghamshire over the line this morning and taking the 16 points for victory. Add the 7 that they've got in the bonus batting and bowling points, means that they take 23 from this fixture, and they do win by 10 wickets. I will be speaking to Ben Slater very, very shortly. Please stick around for post-match reaction here on Trent Bridge Live. Okay, so Ben Slater is literally making his way over to me, and I will speak to him very, very shortly. But that is it for this fixture against Derbyshire. It is Nottinghamshire that take the victory. They had 162 runs to win, and that was the target for them this morning, and Ben and Haas got there in the end. We had to take a little extra few minutes and a few overs. We didn't take lunch early, and we've got the victory. 10 wickets. Ben Slater slowly making his way over. Don't make it even slower. Come on.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Ben.
You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
I imagine
Lovely day,
you're...
innit?
Say again?
Lovely day.
Lovely day, yeah. What have you been up to?
Just playing cricket. Bit of batting out there, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, yeah. Enjoyed it, yeah.
Good. That was a good start, wasn't it? Should we act all serious?
Yeah, let's do it properly now.
I imagine at the start of the day, 162 the target. I spoke to Haas last night. He said that he wanted to be there, to get the runs. I imagine you were exactly the same. So for you both to take Nottinghamshire over the winning line, it must be quite pleasing.
Yeah, I think so. We spoke this morning as a group, batting group, of someone standing up and being there at the end. Wanted just 2 batters to be there to finish it off, and luckily enough, me and Haas did it with 10 wickets remaining. So yeah, all the sweeter when it's a 10-wicket victory and you chase them down, non down.
Now, obviously, Derbyshire, a former side of yours. I imagine you still know quite a lot of their players and stuff like that. Does it make it a little bit sweeter that you were there at the end to take the victory against them? Yeah,
I think so. Obviously, local derby, bit of niggle in the game. So obviously, it's always nice to win in a local derby. So yeah, nice to get the win.
Now, I kind of feel like you've been a part of this game in every day. Okay, so I want to roll.
Just want a quiet life.
Well, it's not me. It's not me that makes you part of the game. But I feel that we need to roll back a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because it's been a special game for you.
Yeah.
Now, for people that might not have seen the first few days, you are now a first-class wicket taker.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk to us about that moment, because it's been coming, I think.
Well, yeah. Dave Bracegill was just off camera here, and he's been giving me a little bit of stick the last week or so, saying we had the same amount of first-class wickets. So it's nice to get 1-0 up on him now. So yeah, no, but yeah, nice feeling. I've bowled a little bit in first-class cricket, not while I've been here, but previously, and I'd not managed to get one. But I've been working hard on it the last year or so, and it's nice to see that I've got a wicket now in the wicket column. I'm not sure my average is going to look too healthy though, but yeah, I've got a wicket, so
can't take it away from you, can they?
No.
Can't take it away from you.
I can't.
And I believe that you are now officially a member of the cartel. Is that correct?
Apparently so, yeah. Fletch put it in the WhatsApp group on the evening I got the wicket and said, "Welcome to the cartel." So I'm in, and I got invited to the bowlers meeting in the warm-up the other day as well. So
it just gets better and better.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
I mean,
yeah.
And
how am I in a bowlers meeting?
Do you want me to honestly answer that, or give the professional answer? No, we jest, don't we? But it is something that you have been working on.
Yeah.
And it is something that you take serious. You do practice in the nets. Yes, maybe one, goes a little bit wider and further than you want it to do.
Yeah.
But it is something that you take very seriously. And I imagine that you want to improve and maybe even get some more wickets.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's no point doing the work if you don't want to be serious about it and get better. So I think the last year we've seen that I have, and I suppose it's just about putting the work in still and trying to take the opportunity when it comes. Obviously, I'm probably not going to be front line, but like you say, if I can come on and create a couple of chances like I did the other day, it can only help the side. So yeah, that's what it's all about, really.
Exactly. Now, this kind of brings a close to the first part of the county championship. To end on a victory, 4 victories so far this season. How do the rest of the lads, the team as a whole, see this first part of the county championship?
I think we'll take where we are. I've not seen the table, but I'd imagine we're up there near the top now. So I think we've got to be pleased with it. Obviously, we messed up a little bit against Glamorgan, and we realised that. And obviously, after that, we've bounced back strong in the game since then. Unlucky last week at Lords. Could have been another victory, but I think we broke it down at the start of the season, and this was like a 6 test match sort of series, and to be 4-1 up in it, I think we'll take that.
Exactly. Well, I think a certain Brace Girdle properly wants to talk to you.
I'm not talking to him.
Well, you're 1-0 up. I mean, you can just whatever Dave asks. Whatever Dave asks, just go 1-0, Dave. 1-0,
yeah,
Dave.
I will.
But in all seriousness, really well done today, you and
Thank
Haas.
you.
Obviously, it's great to see both of you there at the end and get knots over the line. Congratulations. I believe your dad's told me I have to refer to you as an all-rounder now.
Perfect.
So if
Thanks,
that's
mate.
what Dave Slater says, that's what it says. So thank you very much to Ben Slater, the all-rounder.
Cheers, pal.
All right, mate. Well done. Okay, so there we have it. As I say, Notts do take the victory here against Derbyshire by 10 wickets. The target this morning was 162, and Hasib Hamid and Ben Slater got us over the line with 10 wickets to spare. So that's it from a county championship point of view for the season so far. It now switches to the white ball and the T20 action. Now, if you're interested in the T20 blast, then it starts from a Trent Bridge point of view here on Friday night against the Worcestershire Rapids. Do visit the website if you want to get some tickets. We will be live streaming every non-televised home game here on Trent Bridge Live, so if you can't get to the ground, then obviously we will give you the best coverage that is possible. But from everybody here at Trent Bridge Live, thank you very much for joining us over the last 3 and a bit days, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.